Have to. Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
The Morning Xtra, only on Xtra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. Tug, Rhino, and Los on Xtra 106.3, halfway through the work week. We're at the beginning of the halfway point. So I guess at 8 o'clock it'll be halfway, technically, fully halfway.
This is a mile run. We're on just the very first meter, the first 400.
Like.
The first lap around.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, so the snowpocalypse is coming. Now it's 6 to 8 inches. Have y'all seen this?
It's not 6.
Try to tell you.
6 to 8 inches. I swear that's
Here
what
I am.
That's what the weather. I don't believe it either. I don't believe it either.
Maybe up by Hiawassee by me.
Yeah,
yes.
But
Yes.
I'm telling you,
absolutely.
the weather bug. A friend of mine sent me a screenshot because I guess he heard us talking about it yesterday. And he was like, no, I don't believe it's coming either, but man, it would be great. He just loves snow and all. It's like my wife loves snow, and she screenshot it. I guess it was Weather Bug. There's an actual app called Weather Bug.
Yeah.
I feel like I remember that from a long time ago. Anyway, and he screenshot it. It said like 6 to 8 inches for Atlanta. I was like, dude, you're drinking heavily.
Yeah.
Which weatherman's drunk?
So the Extra weather team has looked into this, and it looks like come 7 o'clock in the morning, we'll get some snow. It'll start falling, and then it'll turn to freezing rain and ice, which is a big problem.
That's the problem.
Yeah, and that's where it's going to be a problem. Then it'll, break off into more rain later on in the afternoon, but it's going to be cold all day. So, I think, Carlos, when he talked about Friday not putting kids in school, if it's supposed to hit at 7 o'clock, school's done. And Governor Kemp right now is working with everybody to get this done.
They won't even consider it.
Nah.
I really appreciate that when it came to Monday morning and I said, be on the lookout for what happens later in the week, and your kids will not be in school.
Correct.
As the Oracle of Atlanta, I feel very good about what's going on because it's not about weather hitting us, it's the threat of weather.
No, that's exactly right.
That's always our reaction to threat.
Exactly right. There won't be a loaf of bread. There won't be a
you better go get your milk.
Milk.
It's already happened. I went to Publix just to get some lemon pepper because I was making fish. And the place was empty.
Gone.
I mean, I was like, what did you guys do? Come on, man.
Where'd you put the Frito-Lays?
Yeah.
What the world is going on?
I've been eating good. I didn't even go to the chip aisle because there's too many buy one, get ones there.
Oh, yeah.
Publix got the best buy one, get ones. They get me every time, man.
Or do just the half price.
Yeah, that's what I usually do.
It's still more expensive than Kroger.
Sure.
Even with that stuff, I think it's more expensive than Kroger.
Yeah, Kroger
But
is.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, why do you all become preppers the week of? The rest of us have been prepping for a while.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, last week, they got, Kroger's got a good deal right now on Chef Boyardee, which is one of my favorite, put away foods in cans. It's 10 for $10. And, look, I feel like, consumer advocate here telling you about all the deals at Publix. I'm like Clark Howard, but just not a penis. But yeah, all those deals, I stock up. I have so much Chef Boyardee. I don't know why. It's always 10 for 10.
Dude, Chef Boyardee's great.
Yeah.
And I know it's processed. All this is probably going to give you cancer and all kinds of things. Or at least I read that the other day.
I'm sure.
And including brown liquors. Well, just liquor in general. Did y'all see that?
Yeah,
Where it said there's the new report that they want to put the Surgeon General warning on alcohol because it's a study out of Michigan or somewhere.
You need to tell somebody from Kentucky that their bourbon's going to cause them cancer, and then tell an Italian that I have a whole lot of Chef Boyardee Italian at home.
And they'll
be just as offended.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
No, I don't eat those Chef Boyardees. That's my apocalypse
Man, I used
kit.
to love them when I was a kid, though. Ravioli.
I would like to think that that's what poor Joe has as he's down in the basement. He just has Twinkies and Chef Boyardee.
Oh, there's just cans of them strung about on the floor.
He's all prepped and ready.
Oh, it's disgusting. It's vile. There's some rats living in them.
He just has a plastic spoon that rotates from one can to the next.
It's a spork, so he can get the meatballs.
That's right.
It's cold.
Right. Get in the corner. You can get in the corner.
Yeah, no worries, though, in the snowstorm. I leave 3 cans of Chef Boyardee outside to get Joe inside.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Brings
That's
it
how I
in.
find my way home.
That's right.
Chef Boyardee.
Is it ravioli? Oh.
I'm in.
I really do have to pack a go-bag for Friday.
Yeah, you do. You are going to be...
Because I may have to sleep here if traffic gets...
You're the critical person.
Too much.
Yeah.
I won't leave you stranded, man. I'll be here, too. I won't leave you stranded. No,
You
man,
might not
that's
make
fine.
it, dude. You might not make it here.
No, I'll come the night before. if I have to.
6 to 8 inches of snow. You might not get it.
Well, I got a 4-wheel drive.
You got to come in Tuesday. You might as well stay here now.
Not go home Wednesday.
I've done this for so long at this company where I've been stuck in a hotel room. Or even when we did our coverage of the election, and it was, okay, you got to stay. And I was like, no, I'll go home and then I'll turn around and come back here hours later. I'm going to play this one by ear.
There you go, man.
I'm going to see where it is. I'm not planning on coming up here to the Battery and hanging out.
I'll be here with you, Joey. I'm not going to let you down.
So you and Joe...
No man left behind.
Tug, if we're stuck up here on Friday night and we got to sleep here, I'm breaking dry January.
There's nothing...
I'm heading over to Live.
There is nothing more pathetic than when you're sitting there with your coworkers. In this case, I think we were playing like Cards Against Humanity, and you're not sure if you should play some of the cards because you're wondering about catching some complaint in HR. Because you're like, I have this card that says something that I probably should not play.
I don't know about this, man. I'm not feeling good about this one. No, we'll have to bring Yahtzee and Uno and just like a regular deck of cards. We'll 500 random yourself.
I think you should just read Bible verses to him to get him back into...
Yes, that's right. Get him back
graces.
No, I think it's a good idea. Speaking of was it Wesley Huff that was recently on the Joe Rogan podcast? I'm very intrigued. I've seen a lot of clips about that one.
About 90 minutes through it so far.
Yeah, how is it? Is it good? So, in case you don't know, he's just a theologist. Is he Canadian?
Yeah. Okay. So
born in the Middle East, but
born in the Middle East, lived all through the Muslim world, and he's Canadian, but it's a lot to follow. Because he's bringing up like ancient Samaria and all of these texts, but it is interesting just the study of when he starts going through biblical text and then historical text, how dependent we are on somebody somewhere 3,000 years ago, what they wrote down and how they wrote it down, and was it secondhand or how do they do it? I mean, that's been kind of the interesting part about it.
And Joe Rogan's response of how these illiterate people, are able 1,000 years apart. The story doesn't change.
Right.
It's all based on eyewitness. That's what the beauty of Christianity. But such a fascinating topic, and to hear Joe Rogan drop the F-bomb like every other, it's like doing it. I do it too. No, I don't. But at the same time, it's like, come on, man.
But it's not. Okay, when it comes up during that podcast, it's not like he's sitting there with somebody who's like this hardcore, very religious person. It doesn't come across as being rude or anything else.
No, it doesn't. But it's just like...
But it is.
It is weird.
It's just weird.
It's an
just
adjustment.
Weird. It's
to listen to people curse, because we've done this for so long where we make sure we don't say bad words, and our words usually aren't as graphic or bad as some of the things you hear on YouTubes and other stuff. Sure. I mean, it happens here and there. But to hear it, it's very weird to us.
It is.
Well,
it is odd.
When Wesley Huff brings up like the Epic of Gilgamesh, and one of the first things that you get from Joe Rogan is like, that's effing crazy. And only he can.
Yeah, right.
How he quiet talks on some of that stuff.
But still uses
the
that's
weird.
It's so good, man. I'm telling you, I can't wait to watch the whole thing. And
you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I think
it's a lot though.
Yeah.
Slow it down.
Yeah, exactly. I have to listen to it instead of time and a half speed. Listen to it like half speed.
Slow it down a little bit.
So they talk like this.
You'll hit rewind a couple times, going, "What was that?"
Dude, I have to hit rewind on everything.
I did it a few times.
On everything, I have to hit rewind on everything.
Where's your mind go?
It doesn't matter.
like
All I
go
have to do
somewhere.
is like if I'm listening to something like that on the way to work, and I glance up at a billboard.
Yeah,
I have to hit rewind because I'm gone. I used to be able
got
to
that
multitask.
ADD?
Yes, I used to be able to multitask. Yes, dude. And I'll be like, oh my God, what'd he say?
Yeah.
Or, I'm 45 seconds later and I'm like, I have no idea how I got to this point. Back up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that a bright color?
Yeah, exactly. Dude,
What did you just finish saying?
Oh, God. It's
The
awful.
hardest is for reading for me. Yeah, I'll start off real well, and I'll be reading and comprehending everything I'm reading, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, Leo's got the Choi Kwan Do Friday night at 8, and I'm like, what did I just read? I have to go back and reread the paragraph.
Me too. That's why it takes me 8 years to read a book. Right there. That's the exact same reason I get distracted easily. God, what a mess. What a mess. But glad that you're here, and we appreciate you. 404-741-1230 is the number. I'm interested in John Fetterman, y'all.
Whoa.
Just the fact that this man is crazy, and then turns out he's not crazy at all, though I don't agree with him on about half of things that he says or does or believes politically. And yet he says some of the most common sense things that you will ever hear out of the Democrat Party, and he's the only one saying them.
I thought yesterday throughout the evening was the perfect example of why we won the election in the way that we did. Because I'm having John Fetterman talk about this Lake and Riley Act that is going to find its way into the Senate, is now gone through the House. And just to strip it down to simple terms, if you commit theft, you can possibly be deported based on your criminal history. That's just how it's going to be. Because that would have actually gotten rid of her killer a multitude of times in this state. So you have John Fetterman bringing this up as like the great test to see, how well the left is going to do. Meanwhile, the left is spending so much time talking about a Donald Trump press conference for a guy who's not president while also California burns. It's like, how you're living in fantasy land.
Yeah.
Like these things that are actually playing out, and you're busy complaining about a guy calling it the Gulf of America. And Fetterman telling you need to pay attention to this
Why
instead.
aren't you paying attention to the things that matter?
Let's play the audio here. This is Fetterman. He's on Fox News, and he's pointing out because they're not doing the serious stuff, they're not doing the simple stuff, this is why they lose.
Like, it's really common sense. And I'd like to remind everybody that we have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of migrants here illegally that have convicted of crimes. And why, I don't know why, who wants to defend to allow them to remain in our nation? They're that. And now, if you're here illegally and you're committing crimes and those things, I don't know why anybody thinks that it's controversial that they all need to go.
Do you think that this was one of, if not the biggest issue for this election?
Well, I think if we can't, there's 47 of us in the Senate, and if we can't pull up with 7 votes, if we can't get at least 7 out of 47, and if we can't, then that's the reason why we lost. That's one of them. That's one of why we lost, in part.
Dude, he's the only guy that makes any sense. He's the only dude that makes sense.
Yeah, he really is. And,
On the
hopefully,
Democrat side.
there's some other Senate leaders from the Democrat side that are going to vote for this act as well. But you're going to have to, hopefully, Bernie Sanders is one of them who said he's going to come across and probably vote for this act, which is good because when you look at what the House did, and congratulations, by the way, to Mike Collins. It's his first bill that he put in last March, and it got through.
And it's making a huge change, or will make a huge change in the safety of America.
And there's a lot to this bill that people need to understand and why it's so important. But, this is a good bill that Collins put through. Now, you still had over 143 Democrats that said, no, we want to protect these criminals that have come across this border illegally. That's scary. That's a scary thought. But good for the 40 that did vote for this. But it has to go through Senate. It's got to pass the 60 vote threshold. We don't have 60 votes on our side, but we hope that John Fetterman and Bernie Sanders will be able to bring some common sense senators across, too.
There was a Democrat that I ended up retweeting last night, and his reason for voting against it, he started talking about how it's the elimination of due process. Due process by the 14th Amendment is for citizens, people that are born here, that are naturalized citizens. The belief from their side is that everyone is due process because they're here. And that is not the case. They are not citizens. So that complaint that comes from the left, it's because at its heart, they see somebody here illegally as no different than you.
That's the way they want to see it. They know in their heart of hearts that that's not the case.
It's going to be a tough sell. And Fetterman's telling you it's a tough sell.
No, that's right. But can you imagine being in the Senate and this bill doesn't pass, what the Democrats will face?
Yeah.
Even the mainstream media, will have to be like, hold up, you're choosing to protect people who are breaking your laws. And I don't mean just by coming across the border breaking your laws. They've already broken that law. But I'm saying breaking the law, being violent, killing actual Americans. You're willing to sacrifice Americans for people who are here breaking your laws and endangering you.
Yeah, and Democrats are really, what they're doing is they're buying these people. It's almost like a slave trade in a way where they're saying, hey, we want to buy these people, get them to our sanctuary cities. Let's get federal funding for them. We need money. We're going to sell these people, into this and hopefully convert them into our voters. That's what this is all about. But the reality of this is that Donald Trump is going to, and, he hasn't talked about it yet, but he kind of mentioned a little bit, you're going to take away federal funding from some of these sanctuary cities. You have to at this point. And if they want to sit back and they want to pretend that they're high and mighty, then do it without federal funding. Let's see how many cities get their funding cut off and stick to their values and their convictions by saying, yeah, we want to rescue these people. No, this is about getting criminals out of our country. It's about saving people's lives like Laken Riley. And there is no exception. We need to protect the American people and our borders and the sovereignty of this country. And this bill does it. It needs to pass.
All right. Sooner get slapped in the face than punched in the face. All right? Those are two things. Sometimes life will slap you in the face. You go, wow, I was acting dumb. Other times you get punched in the face and you're like, wow, my teeth got knocked out. Mm-hmm. Imagine what you have going on yesterday, where you have this common sense being spoken by a Democrat out of Pennsylvania in John Fetterman. You have the left then rising up and trying to make all these make-a-believe reasons as to why you should not vote for this. Meanwhile, then you have actual citizens who are having their entire homes burned down, and all they can do is look at it and say, wow, the people that that talk about the stuff that they're talking about in D.C., that's the reason why I'm getting no help like out here.
Yeah.
And Joe Biden's out there, and he's like MIA.
Oh,
he's in L.A.
There was a tweet at near 1 in the morning because I stayed up watching.
Was that about the firefighters? Is that the one?
What I made the point about was that's not him. Like he's not awake.
Definitely not. No.
He's not awake.
Yeah.
And then that turned into the real idiots jumping in and like, well, of course it's 1 o'clock on the East Coast. Mm-hmm. Like, but the president needs to be awake for this sort of stuff. That's my entire point. That's why you lost.
He can't be awake. Rhino, he can't. He just doesn't have the ability.
No, he's there to be the troll and do what he needs to do, and he's just a figurehead at this point.
His name. Yeah.
His physical body's there.
Yeah. But he's not posting anything or saying anything or thinking anything.
He hasn't posted anything in 4 years.
Or ever. I don't know that he's ever. I bet he's never.
He doesn't know how to get onto a phone except for to call people and them tell him he's got the wrong number.
I don't know what's happening.
Come on, Grandpa. Put the phone down. Stop calling people.
The president.
It was 10:45 last night.
Was that okay? Was that the firefighter one? Is that what it? Or what was it about?
It's about the wildfires in West Los Angeles, and my team and I are in touch with state and local officials. BS, you're asleep.
Yeah, dude. Whoever wrote that for you.
We're well after 4 o'clock. We're told between 10 and 4, your dementia's not as bad as it then is beyond then.
Good Lord, what a mess. Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra until 10. And then we'll talk to Neil Bortz, Talkmaster, next. The only place you get Neil is here on Extra.
Hey, it's Flounder, and the Kimmer Show is live every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m.
There's anything that personifies the narcissistic nature of these people, and I'm saying these people, that they want to be known as like the royal we. I am so important that you are just a you. Yeah. You're just singular. Well, I'm plural. I must be known as plural because I'm greater than you. It's pure narcissism.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Convenience is defined as the state of being able to proceed with something with little effort or difficulty. Well, at RBM of Atlanta, we embody this philosophy. Meet our Mercedes-Benz pickup and delivery service. It gives you back time and money. Does your Mercedes-Benz need service? If so, we'll pick up your vehicle that's requiring service from your home or office and bring it back to our dealership for the required service. With over 100 appointments available every weekday, over 50 appointments on Saturdays, and more than 200 courtesy vehicles in our fleet, we're here to serve. We'll work around your schedule. We're here to save you time, energy, and money. RBM of Atlanta is a J.D. Power 2023 Diamond Dealer of Excellence for the customer sales experience and Georgia's only 9-time Mercedes-Benz Best of the Best winner. We're proud to be Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964. Pickup and delivery service restrictions do apply. Ask your service coordinator or service advisor for details.
Hey, Atlanta, it's Mark from the Safe House. And now the security riddle of the day. When times get tough, where do you keep your stuff? Answer, in a quality safe from the Safe House, of course. Don't go to a big box store and get a fake safe. That would be as effective as Joe Biden's fake border policy. For over 30 years, the Safe House has been providing the best quality safes on the market. Brands like Browning, Fort Knox, and Champion. And with the largest selection of safes on display in Georgia, we're confident we can help you pick the right safe to fit your needs. So drop by our huge showroom or go to atlantasafehouse.com.
Hey, it's a Kimmer. Okay, you're driving along. Suddenly you hear that horrible sound of metal and crunching. It's an accident. Even if it's a little minor fender bender, man, that could be a nightmare. First, obviously, take care of yourself. But before you make a deal with an insurance company or anybody else, call David Van Sant with Van Sant Law. You know why? Because he used to work for the insurance company, so he knows how to get the right settlement and right away. Van Sant Law. Don't forget, if you don't get paid, they don't get paid. Protecting your interests. Insurance is great, but it's complicated. 855-GA-INJURY or vansantlaw.com.
Are you tired of dealing with loud, ugly, drafty garage doors? Do you have certain rooms in the house that you can't keep cool in the summer or warm in the winter? Hi, I'm Dan Watkins with All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. Now is a great time to upgrade with brand new, efficient, quiet, and beautiful garage doors. Your garage door is the biggest opening in your home, which is why it's such an important part of your home's curb appeal and energy efficiency. Give us a call today at 770-517-7078. Get started today by visiting us at allfourseasonsgarages.com.
Hey, Georgia neighbors, it's time to expect more from your Medicare Advantage. Discover Sonder Health's custom plans tailored just for Georgians. Saunders offers unique benefits, including special plans for those living with chronic conditions. Some plans even come with grocery or gas benefits to support your overall well-being. Sonder Health makes it easy to get the coverage you need. See for yourself what today's Medicare Advantage can do for you. Visit SonderHealthPlans.com, a healthier state of life. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO and PPO with Medicare contracts. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Good morning. Here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Wednesday, January 8th, 2025. Roswell police report that one of their officers encountered a suspicious man at Regal Nissan on Holcomb Bridge Road earlier this morning. When the officer approached, the man reportedly rushed at him, leading to a physical altercation. The officer attempted to use a taser, but it was ineffective. Subsequently, the officer fired his gun, injuring the man, who is now in stable condition. This is a developing story, and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation has been called in to investigate. A suspect is in custody following a double shooting in the parking lot of the Consulate General of Honduras in Atlanta. Doraville police responded to a report of a shooting and discovered one person dead and another injured at the scene. The name of the suspect and victims have not been released. Any details of the incident remain under investigation. And Governor Kemp has announced preparations for a winter storm expected to hit the metro Atlanta region within the next 48 hours. Kemp stated that state agencies are coordinating with local officials to ensure the safety of Georgians ahead of the storm, which is forecasted to begin Friday morning. Meteorologists predict snow will reach the metro Atlanta area around 7 a.m. on Friday, potentially transitioning to freezing rain before 10 a.m. With your headlines, Scott Rhino, Extra 106.3.
We are fortunate this early in the year to have the Talk Master Neil Bortz join us for another year. Welcome back, Neil. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Each week.
Well, after the last couple of weeks, you're fortunate to have me at all.
I know you've not been feeling well.
Yeah, you could have just kind of done your own thing.
E. coli.
Is that one of those that made you sick? Oh,
yeah.
Lord.
Yeah. With some people, it's just, I feel kind of down for it. But boy, with me, it put me on my big, white, fat, blubbery butt.
Yeah.
But I'm back.
But you made it. You made it through
I have
Christmas.
A great voice, guys, because that's all I got this morning.
That's it. You sound fantastic.
I don't remember it.
What do you mean you don't remember?
You don't remember Christmas?
I do not. I do. Went over to my granddaughter's house, also known as my daughter's house, and I sat down in a chair and went to sleep. I was just so bad. So I don't remember Christmas.
Wow, man.
And that sucks. So I'll have to stay alive for another one, I guess.
Yeah, there you go.
It's going to be an interesting day in here in Naples. I'm looking at the Gulf. The waves are breaking pretty high right now.
Are you guys expecting a storm there or no?
I don't know, but usually I judge by the way the surf looks. Sometimes it's a lake. Right now, you could be riding them.
Okay, get out there with your surfboard.
So, okay, hey, listen, there's something kind of interesting happening down here, and I'd like to alert people to it because it might be happening in your community too, especially if you have a community Facebook page. Like the Dumpwoody Facebook page or something like that.
Yeah.
There are people. What are you laughing at? I used to live in Dumpwood.
It's just funny. I never heard it called that before.
Then I moved to Butthead. But anyway, somebody will post on Facebook, and their name usually seems to start with LO something. Could somebody please send me $8 by PayPal? I need to feed my dogs, and I can't feed my dogs and my baby. It's all over the place, and these people must be raking in beaucoup bucks. Yep. The administrators can't get rid of them fast enough. As soon as they get rid of them, they come back with another name. I wonder if you all have seen any of that.
Yeah. Oh, actually,
they only ask for $7, $8, $10 for dog food or for gas so they can get to work, stuff like that.
There's other things that go on too, Neil, the other scams that go on. In fact, my future mother-in-law, Deborah, who has a huge heart, older woman, has a wonderful home up in, Cherokee County area. And she saw some woman who's saying she doesn't have a place for her or her daughter, and that, the landlord stole everything, blah, blah, blah. And she was being nice and said, well, come stay here and move in with us. We have extra rooms. And then it became a squatter's issue. So a lot of these scams are going on right now, and it was in one of those community books.
Well, it worries me a little bit because my wife loves to give away money. Oh, my God.
Oh, wait. What's her Facebook page?
Yeah.
Let me know. And there's these little calculators online. What's your net worth? Blank, blank, blank. How old are you? Blank, blank. Okay, here's how much you can spend a month for the rest of your life and not run out of money. And I said, well, you don't know my wife. You talk about spend. How much can you give away a month and not run out of money? I cannot tell you how many $100 tips I've seen that lady leave at little Choke and Puke restaurant. Honey, 100. Well, look at her teeth. She needs some cleaned. God,
she could use a breast job.
By the way, speaking of breast jobs, I'm glad you brought that up.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, no, there's another. These wonderful videos of kids who have their wisdom teeth pulled.
Yes.
And they're still under the effects of the milk of amnesia and all that. A little girl the other day was upset, had her wisdom teeth pulled. She's coming out of the anesthesia, and she's upset. She thought she was going to get a boob job.
I'll tell you, Neil, like I had mine pulled maybe like 20, 25 years ago, and I still remember I came out of it. I was telling everybody that I loved them, and I was bleeding like profusely. Aww. And the fun part about it was that about a few weeks later, we get a ticket in the mail from the Alpharetta Police Department saying that I ran a red light. And my wife is complaining at me about, I can't believe you ran a red light and you went ahead. It turns out she was driving me. It was her picture through downtown Alpharetta. So I always look back at that wisdom teeth pull and I'm like, yeah, I did it right that day.
Handing out traffic tickets, I don't know how real this is, but some cops have great lines to use on people. Like they pulled pulled over a beautiful young woman, and she said, "I didn't think you gave tickets to pretty girls." And the guy says, "We don't. Sign here."
You don't qualify, ma'am.
That's a good one.
Or do you know who my father is? Well, what's the matter? Your mom didn't tell you?
Oh.
I have found it. Okay, so I got pulled over maybe about a month ago, and I was talking to my oldest daughter, and I just ended up running through a red light. And as soon as it happened, I flat out told the police officer when he pulled me over, I go, "It was my fault. I was talking to my daughter. We were trying to figure, I think we were trying to find a fork somewhere in the car for her to eat her food."
Yeah. Before volleyball practice.
And before practice. And so by the time he looks at me with this, 14-year-old girl in the car, he's like, "You got bigger problems." So he's like, "Yeah, you're fine. Go ahead. Just go on. Watch out for that light."
Yeah.
I ran a stop sign right in front of a Collier County deputy here a couple of years ago. I looked at Don. I said, "Oh, I'm screwed. Here comes a ticket." He walked up to the car and he looked at the window. And I said, "I apologize, officer." He said, "You got two choices. Either I give you a ticket or you take that lady out to dinner tonight and you text me the receipt."
Thank you, sir.
Yes, absolutely. I'll do that. I'll take that. Let's take that version.
I tell you, one of the great things about Collier County, past the Democrat. Yeah, like there's Democrats here. Past the demographics, is the Collier County Sheriff's Department is just absolutely one of the best in the world. And if you're a cop somewhere and not satisfied, I say come down here and work for Collier County.
Okay.
So, okay, what's the first thing? Right now we have Joe Biden. I did this in my commentary this morning. He's issuing all these executive orders, and they're all coming from his aides. They're all coming from his advisors. He doesn't have the cognitive ability to even understand the concept of offshore drilling, let alone craft an executive order on it. And now he's sending Islamic terrorists over to Oman so that they, Osama's bodyguards. Oh boy. So he doesn't. He can't figure this out. What do you think? I get into an argument on Facebook about this and on X. Is there a chance he's going to resign at the last minute so the hyena can be the 47th president?
I think he hates her so much.
Yeah,
like Jill would never allow it. Yeah.
Jill would, she'd probably be the next person to take a shot at him if that happened.
And Hillary, I don't think Hillary would allow it either.
Yeah, what more damage can Joe do in 2 weeks?
Buddy, buckle up. It's not him. It's those people around him that want to do as much as they can to damage the country as punishment for not electing him, not re-electing
I think the idea, Bort, is to go ahead and make it as hard for Trump to fix the economy as possible. So any kind of green energy, I think the Democrats are so tied up in the EV and hoping to transfer energy from oil to EV so they could capitalize on that everything that will be done now is about EV.
Yeah. You know what we really need? Nuclear power plants.
I'm down with that.
I don't know how Donald Trump feels about that, but, I just got back from Europe in December. So much of Europe is powered by nuclear power. There are so many nuclear power plants that some of them have aged out, and they took the cooling towers and turned them into amusement parks.
Wow. Well, let me tell you, I'm not sure that's a good idea.
Roller coasters inside cooling towers.
Yeah. I was stationed aboard a USS South Carolina, which was a nuclear-powered cruiser, and we wore, these radiation detectors on our belt loops because of that. So I'm not sure an amusement park at a nuclear power reactor is a good idea. That's just me talking out loud. No, I believe you. I just don't know if it's a good idea.
Well, I'm kind of a pudding stick. I like to cause trouble.
Yes, sir. I know.
So I went on. I just like to prove that you can get anything on Amazon. I've got body bags and a shelf in here that I got on Amazon.
Wow.
And
morbid.
Well, no, there was an electrician that was very, very careless and got knocked on his keister working on one of our systems. And so I went and got some body bags, and the next time he came over, I unzipped it. Here, step in this. What? Step in this. If you do it again, all I have to do is zip it up.
Zip it right
Well, and you never know when you got to deal with a
Yeah.
problem.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wink,
You should take them to hotels and put pillows in them when you leave the room for the maid.
Or you could take garbage bags and tie them up so they look like a corpse and then leave them leaning against a dumpster somewhere.
I do that. That's good with old sheets, too.
Well, I used to like to take cracker balls or poppers. You know what I'm talking about? And gently put them on the toilet rim and then put the top down so it's just resting on them.
Yes. Not the poppers that the other community uses. The popper, the ones you throw on the ground and they go ping.
Like a Snap-a-Pop.
Yes.
And then one of the greatest is Larry Lowenstein. He used to be. You probably weren't around when Larry Lowenstein was around. We went to a party at his house. You know how people like to open medicine cabinets?
Yes.
When they go, yeah. He just lined up a bunch of sex toys in the medicine cabinet.
Catch them off guard. Like, wow, these people get after it.
Big ones, wide ones, short ones, white ones, all of them.
Wow.
But my favorite is you get marbles and you put a piece of cardboard up against the shelves in the medicine cabinet, pour the marbles behind the... then close the door, pull out the cardboard, and then if anybody opens it, everybody in the whole building knows they opened your medicine cabinet.
That's a great idea.
Okay, so what's Trump's first thing? Yeah. What's Trump's first thing going to be when he becomes president?
Remain in Mexico.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see
That'll
so many
be
of the
his first
immigration.
action.
Yeah, I believe we're going to see those executive orders that are going to get kicked right back in. The very first thing, when you look at Joe Biden, the 21 executive orders that he signed on day one, I think you're going to see much of them re-implemented day one of Donald Trump.
Well, I hope so. And I think I don't know if this takes an executive order. He is, after all, the commander-in-chief. Take military bases that are no longer, some of them abandoned or what have you, and just make them holding pens for illegals, especially Tren de Aragua and the violent ones, holding pens pending their deportation to the country of their origin, and then also lower the hammer on Mexico. I mean, so many, these illegals, they're not from Mexico, but they are through Mexico, and Mexico can stop it.
Yep.
And Mexico has already agreed. Claudia Sheinbaum down there has said they will take all Mexican illegals that have come into the United States back, but also others who are not from Mexico, as has Guatemala. Both of them have said we will do that.
Well, I hope that's number one. If you're an illegal living in this country, especially if you have committed crimes, your pucker factor ought to be about 120% right now.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I hope they do it early, and I think the border is going to be one of the first ones. I want to see energy being a top topic in the first 20 days too. But I think if you go ahead and get those detention centers done, get everybody moved to where they need to and out of this country, you've got plenty of time to get over that and get the left calm down, and they'll start to see the benefit of it, and then you can move forward with the energy and everything else to fix this country and the economy.
Trump has 2 years. If he does an excellent job, he'll have 4 years. If the first 2 years are sandbagged by the Democrats to any great extent, then they're going to be in control of the House in the second 2 years. But, listen, anything is better than Kamala Harris.
Yes,
anything
no
is
doubt.
better.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Except Hillary. Hillary would not have been better.
Oh, you're right. It should have been awful. I mean, look, it's neck and neck. It's like a horse race photo finish to see who would be worse. Just glad we don't have to deal with any of it. Neil Bortz, thank you so much. This is the Morning Extra. Tug, Rhino, and Los. When we continue the left's last-ditch effort to get Pete Hegseth is next. Tug, Rhino, and Los until 10.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
The Atlanta Hawks stole a win last night in Utah against the Jazz, 123-121. Down 3 with 4 seconds left, Utah's Colin Sexton drilled a game-tying three-pointer. The tie didn't last long, though, when Trae Young sank a half-court buzzer beater to win the game. Trae Young finished with 24 points and 20 assists, while 6 other Hawks finished in double-digit scoring. Atlanta's record now stands at 19-18, good enough for 7th in the East, as they head to Phoenix to take on the Suns tomorrow night at 9. For Extra 106.3 Sports, I'm Joe Virgin.
It is 25 degrees outside. 25. Do not let the cold in Atlanta get you down. Stay warm with Carrier products from Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Their Carrier systems are designed to keep you comfortable even during the coldest of days. With advanced warming technology, you'll enjoy a refreshing home no matter what the temperature is outside. A warm, comfortable home. And right now you can save up to $2,000 on Carrier systems. Up to $2,000 to ensure you stay warm all winter long. And then Carrier systems, they come with excellent warranty for that added peace of mind. Central Heating and Air Conditioning, serving Atlanta since 1947, I believe. Is that 77 years? Chuck and his family have owned this company. Central Heating and Air Conditioning, they pride themselves on better service through knowledge. Turn to your Atlanta Carrier experts and call them today for a maintenance agreement, for repairs to your system, even if it's not a Carrier system. They can fix all brands. Or that brand new Carrier system saving $2,000. 770-GET-HEAT or centralheat.com.
For half a century, glyphosate has affordably and effectively protected Georgia farmers' crops from invasive weeds. Without it, the impact would be felt beyond the fields, hitting Americans where it hurts, our wallets. That's why the Modern Ag Alliance advocates for farmers' continued access to essential crop protection tools so food prices don't rise even more. Get the facts at controlweedsnotfarming.com. Paid for by the Modern Ag Alliance in support of Georgia farmers.
When it comes to protecting your assets and ensuring peace of mind, trust the expertise of Nelson Eldercare Law. Our Absolute Protection Trust is designed to provide unparalleled asset protection. Visit NelsonEldercareLaw.com to discover how our specialized services can safeguard your family's future and assets, offering you the assurance you deserve. NelsonEldercareLaw.com.
You know the old expression, I love it when a plan comes together? Well, with our First Liberty Notes, this has been so true. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. You hear about our family's company all the time right here on this station. For over 30 years, we've been the local lender who said yes when the big banks say no. A couple of months ago, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Folks from airline pilots to physicians to even pastors are now earning 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of local small businesses. If you're a qualified investor with a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com and see if our First Liberty Notes are right for you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com. That's FirstLibertyGA.com.
First Liberty Notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. SEC accredited investor status must be verified. Securities not offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
The Morning Extra from 6 to 10. Glenn Beck until noon. Clay and Buck from noon to 3. And the Kimmer Show on your ride home from 3 to 6. Plus Jesse Kelly from 6 to 9. And Jimmy Vela from 9 to midnight. The voices you need all day with a conservative voice of Atlanta. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
This ain't going to matter to a lot of people because there's still just a tick of football season left. With the national championship coming up in the semifinals. But Georgia basketball, off to their best start since 1930, and knocked off Kentucky last night.
Yeah.
82-69. Freaking out about that. I think it's amazing when Georgia I don't understand how Georgia or Georgia Tech, for that matter, aren't the best basketball schools in America with the amount of people that come from Metro Atlanta playing big-time college basketball. It's an anomaly. I can't figure it out. Maybe I'll never figure it out.
I don't think you should try and figure it out.
Maybe I'll just let it go now.
I think they're getting, look, it all comes down to recruiting and bringing in people, and you have those programs that have been the top for so long and Georgia's had some good programs. The Jim Herrick years were great, except for some issues.
Cheated their asses off.
Yeah.
And which is why they won.
Yeah, they won great. And they got caught. You don't think the other schools cheat too? Yeah, but I don't know. Look, Florida, started coming along, and the SEC is the strongest conference right now in college basketball.
goodness. It's just surprising when you wake up. And because I didn't watch the game, would have just 1,000 things going on. Love watching Georgia basketball, but I'm just used to them losing. So for them to be off to the start they are is remarkable.
So if you also missed it last night, Trae Young hit a half-court shot to win the game.
I saw that this morning.
Which was extremely awesome.
It was like a 50-footer.
He was beyond half court in a tie ball game and hit the shot. And I pointed it out on Twitter. I was like, Trae Young, everybody.
Yeah.
By this morning, aren't you one of those guys that wanted to run out of town? And here's what I tell you about winners. You are more than welcome to go to my Twitter profile and run a search, and you will never find me speaking negatively about Trae Young outside of some defense. But why, with me being the winner and you being the loser, do you think I have to explain myself to you?
We had this discussion yesterday.
Right.
Trae Young's defensive rating has gone up every year since his rookie season.
It ain't great.
It's not
but
great.
It's better.
But now he's middle of the pack rather than last.
Right.
We'll take it, man.
There's a handful of times where he just kind of waves his hands at the offensive player. But again,
welcome to the NBA.
Great player. 24 points, 20 assists last night.
By the way, 6 SEC teams in the top 10.
Wow.
Right now.
Yeah, surprising. Tech, what did they do? It's just because we're talking about every day. They 62-55 to Syracuse, so not quite where they want to be for sure. It's surprising that so many people come out of this area, and the basketball teams traditionally have not been good. That's always been my question. I've always
I don't get it.
Never made any sense to me. But anyway, the left, they've got this last ditch effort. They're like, how do we get Pete Hegseth? And then Pocahontas.
Pocahontas.
Pocahontas. That's right. Exactly right. Pocahontas. She
You don't understand. I'm Indian.
But
that's how I was able to get to my establishment place in life.
But wait, you're not.
But you don't understand. Grandma had high cheekbones.
I know, right?
I'm 1/116th of Indian.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, her basis for all of her entrance exams and her moving along in society was grandma had high cheekbones.
Yeah.
So I must be Indian.
Have to be. And use that on all of her applications for school and everything else.
She did a cookbook, a Native American cookbook, and you're telling me she didn't learn that from grandma and her high cheeks?
Maybe it's her truth, and we can't take her truth away from her, right, Lowe's? We can't take her truth away from her.
Whatever your truth is, as I was explaining to our coworkers down the hall, because they were upset about being called racist for questioning the Falcons general manager, I said, if you did what I did, it'd be fine. I identify as a black lesbian. So at that point, and probably even trans, so I have the rubber stamp to do anything that I want.
That's right.
Within society, I could say whatever I want, do whatever I want, and I'm a winner. So, I mean, like, across the board, King Kong ain't got S on me.
Defeatable.
Wait, are you trans man or trans woman? I feel trans man.
I'm just going trans.
Just trans.
Just wherever.
So,
get in where you fit in.
Feel free to do whatever you want.
Trans man, woman.
So Pocahontas sent Pete Hegseth a letter saying that his Christian tattoos make him a insider threat. And he is an insider threat that is a threat to the country and the people that he would be leading as the SecDef, as Secretary of Defense. This woman pretends to be a Native American and has zero credibility. None. But she wants you to take what she said and give it credence. And I don't. I mean, we had 2 military members who did heinous things in New Orleans and Las Vegas. And she wants me to believe the guy who'll be examined 6 ways from Sunday in the Senate hearing and the confirmation hearing. That's the insider threat that she wants me to worry about. What about what's happening in the Pentagon? The fact that we can't get ships underway or planes in the air. Maybe that's the threat that we should worry about. Maybe those are the things that we should pay attention to. She needs to get the F out of Dodge, man. That woman needs to shut her mouth and go away.
Yeah, I mean, her constituents are going to vote her out. Not in that area. I mean, they're going to keep her around as long as possible. She'll be there just like, Dianne Feinstein and the rest of them that they allow to die in office and don't even have to show up anymore. But she doesn't do anything except for throw out these ridiculous ideas. She doesn't get any legislation passed that actually helps. Her state's in complete disarray. It is what it is with her. This is a game that they want to play. They don't want to govern her.
Yeah,
just want to create division in any way whatsoever. They want to make Christianity, Catholicism, Judaism all look to be very dangerous, very extreme. So if you see a tattoo that has to do with God, religion, or any kind of religious statue, then guess what? You are now an extremist and you're a threat.
This is why you don't play their game, because their game is destruction. This is what they're good at. If it was about building economies, Joe Biden or Kamala Harris would be going to be president.
Yeah.
If it was about building economic situations, Donald Trump, after an insurrection, would not be going back into office in a landslide victory. These people can't build anything, but they're damn good at causing division and tearing stuff up and making people angry. Do not play their game with them. It's like asking them, they're telling you to come jump in their side of the pool. They're looking to drown you. Don't go get in the water.
That's right.
Leave it alone.
It's very simple. And I think that's the way that most people will play this. Exeth, I may have not even opened this letter. I'm sure that Pocahontas published it so somebody would pay attention to it, because otherwise it wouldn't be paid attention to. But the tattoo that she's talking about is like the Iron Cross looking tattoo. It's called the Deus Vult tattoo, and it's Latin for God's will. That's God's will. That's the tattoo that you think is making this man an insider threat.
Well,
it's just appalling, dude.
They said it was a Nazi tattoo,
which
that
we know
Nazis
that's
have
not the
used,
case.
and blah 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 blah. No, it's a religious symbol that you just explained. So, but this is the division that they have to create. They can't have people come together around a religion, around a political party, around anything. They have to divide that. She does nothing but play these games. The reality of it is this: it doesn't matter. There's plenty of people there to vote for him. He can get confirmed pretty easily. It's just a way of her going out there and trying to make a message so the rest of her senators might double think. I don't think they will.
I don't think so either. And you know, for me, when I see this, it's nothing more than attacking the faith that the majority of Americans have. That's what it is.
So her timing is what's awful here. She could have played this game 3 weeks ago when there was the firestorm of, well, Pete Hegseth, he's a racist drunk. He's got all these. The fact that she's now trying to fire this thing off 3 weeks after the fact, where it looks like he's going to be confirmed without a problem, this is the Hail Mary.
That's right. Yeah, this is the last ditch ever.
And your idea was to go after religion.
Yeah. Well, they hate it.
And service.
They hate it. They hate both of those things.
Would have been a better idea 3 weeks ago. At least somebody would have been like, well, he might be religious and a serviceman, but I think he's a drunk.
Yeah. And you know what? He may used to have been. He clearly has gotten his life in order. If you're basing everything moving forward on someone's past mistake, then no one is good enough to be part of any job, to do anything, to be nominated for anything.
There's just a time and a place, and she missed it.
Yeah, no, that's right.
She missed it.
100%. Dude, she is like slow motion.
Yes, the ball is already through the strike zone, and now you're getting around to taking. I'm going to take my best cut at this thing.
You hear the pop of the mitt, and then the swing.
She's like, oh, I think this might be the case. I think this might be the problem. Baby girl, 3 weeks ago would have been a better idea.
Yeah, no, I know, but you know, we'll watch her wallow in her own ignorance and her own nonsense, and hope to drag somebody down with her. That's what pigs do, right? That's where they wallow and they try to get other people to wallow with them.
This is the adults in the room.
Yeah,
you don't pay attention to the children.
That's right.
They don't have any power. For the next 2 years, they are not able to stop anything or do anything.
Yeah.
Let them be.
Let them be. Let their states fall apart. Massachusetts right now, one of the big things going on, the governor is freaking out because a illegal alien has been raping other people in a shelter that they set up as a city. She's not focusing on issues like that. She wants to play politics. That's what Elizabeth Warren is. She is nothing but a detractor from what would make this country better again.
He will be good for the Pentagon, I do believe. And I believe also that he will be confirmed. I think everybody thinks that. Everybody believes that. The 6 o'clock hour is brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett. Great organization, great place to buy a car. 2 people on this show have bought cars there. At Subaru of Gwinnett, me and my buddy, Captain Goey, Virgin River. We're waiting on Los and Rhino to get in. They're going to get in soon, I'm sure.
I drive by it all the time and look at all the amazing cars they have.
That's exactly right. Bonnie Willis, she got some tough news yesterday. She had a tough day. And she got a $22,000 bill. Buddy, that's never what you want to open the mailbox.
She got cash in that safe.
That's what I hear. Talk about it next.
The Kimmer Show is only live on Xtra 106.3 every weekday afternoon on your drive home.
Well, okay, nobody wants to know this, but so I'm in the men's room. I take, I do the number one thing there. Okay, so then I walk out of the men's room, turn to my right, I take about 2 steps. The fact I haven't mentioned to you yet was that when I went into the men's room, there was a guy in there and about to leave, and I'm telling you, the stench in that men's room was unbelievable. It was a coworker? I didn't recognize him. I think he works down the hall. It made my eyes water. It was so horrible in there. And I exit the thing, and I turn to the right and take 2 steps, and there's a guy coming down the hall behind me from 680. So he thinks I did it. I made the, oh my God. And I just couldn't stop and say, by the way, it's really bad in there, but I didn't do it.
Yes, you could.
Well, I
am not responsible for what's in.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Xtra 106.3 and the Xtra app.
Who doesn't want a great smile? The world seems brighter because it is. Hey, it's a Kimmer. How's it going? You know, that's only one reason to see my dentist, Dr. Dina Giesler at Atlanta Smiles. The other reason, of course, is to take care of your teeth if they're going to make your life miserable. We all know that. But when's the last time you were smiling before you walked in the door like me? Because I know Dr. Dina and her staff are the happiest Kimmer babes you ever saw. We're going to fix me up, and I always take the gas. They tell me my best stories come out that way. And you can actually get a doggy right there napping in my lap, a little doggy. I said, go ahead, work away. Dr. Dina's a Navy vet, ranked a master dentist, which only 1% can say. She's been doing veneers since before anybody even knew what that was. My first visit was 30 years ago. Cosmetic dentistry, cleaning, bridges, crowns, especially keeping your teeth and gums healthy to last as long as you do. Veterans automatic 10% discount. Just tell them when you call. Atlanta Smiles, 404-262-7733. It's atlantasmiles.com. Your new smile's waiting for you. atlantasmiles.com. Tell them the Kimmer sent you. Ask for the doggy. atlantasmiles.com.
Media Minute with Howard Kurtz.
Mark Zuckerberg is firing his fact checkers, even as he takes other steps to ingratiate himself with President-elect Trump. Now, they've had a testy relationship, but it doesn't hurt that Meta's kicking in $1 million to the Trump inaugural. But now, he says they're at a cultural tipping point, and too many mistakes were being made, and people didn't trust the fact checkers anyway, so they get rid of them. And he says this is a cultural tipping point. Well, that's because there's about to be a new president. And he says even if they make mistakes on even 1%, that's an awful lot of people. Now, in addition, Zuckerberg has hired a prominent Republican lawyer, Joel Kaplan, to be the head of global affairs, and put a Trump ally, Dana White of United Fighting Championships, on the Meta board. With your Media Minute, Howie Kurtz, Fox News.
The Dean's List with Janice Dean.
Florida firefighters who surprised a local boy with a new bike makes the Dean's List. The Fernandina Beach Fire Department were called to the scene where a young man named KJ was trapped under his bike wheel. First responders had to cut his foot loose where it was trapped in the wheel spokes. His bicycle was ruined. KJ was transported to the hospital with an ankle sprain. While he was being treated for injuries, members of the fire department were planning a surprise. The Fernandina Fire Department Facebook page shared the news with a photograph of some of their members surprising KJ with a new bike and a new helmet. In the photo, his mom, Joanna, is smiling while KJ is asleep, not knowing what was in store for him when he woke up. No doubt he's now very happy with his brand new bike. Once he's feeling better, I'm sure he'll be back on it again. Janice Dean, Fox News.
WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Van Sant Law, vansantlaw.com.
An ominous orange glow lights up the early morning in Southern California. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Fire is moving so fast and just exploding because of the wind. It's intense, and you don't know what's going to happen.
Thousands of people had to evacuate fast in Los Angeles County.
I've never seen anything
fires were this close to the cars. People left their cars on Palisades Drive.
3 wildfires rage out of control, spread by hurricane-force wind gusts.
The neighborhood was filling with ash and smoke, and then as we grabbed the last few things out of the house, the power went out.
And Jennifer Kennedy tells Fox she doesn't know if she has a house to return to.
From Santa Monica all the way almost to Pepperdine, you have fires burning along Pacific Coast Highway.
Fox's William Lajeunesse standing in front of homes burning in Malibu.
And there's a pack of homes they're trying to save where those fire trucks are right now. They're putting a lot of water on it, but they're just so close together, and the intense radiant heat is just is catching the 2x4s and the structures next to it on fire.
An unknown number of homes and buildings have burned. President-elect Trump will meet at the Capitol today with Republican senators, the day after suggesting he could consider military action to retake U.S. control of the Panama Canal and to require Greenland. Today, the Trump focus is his domestic agenda.
He told reporters at Mar-a-Lago Tuesday they'll be talking about all the policy he wants to get into one big reconciliation bill, he hopes, including tax policy.
Well, I like one big, beautiful bill, and I always have, I always will. But if two is more certain, it does go a little bit quicker because you can do the immigration stuff early.
Legislation that gets through the reconciliation process is not subject to the filibuster, so it could pass with a simple majority.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Also at the Capitol today, former President Jimmy Carter's casket lies in state.
The longest post-presidency of any American president ever. He focused on making the lives of his fellow men better.
Senate Majority Leader John Thune. There will be a funeral tomorrow for Carter at the National Cathedral. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Wake up with the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3 Atlanta.
Tug, Rhino, and Los until 10 here on Extra 106.3. Good morning to you. A story that's blowing up all over social media. And we've had this conversation before, especially in the realm of the way Democrats want to take the rights away from parents and allow kids to make life-changing decisions about their body. This is kind of a spawn of that in Arizona. The tattoo artist who has taken a lot of flack for giving a 9-year-old girl a tattoo. Now get this. She came in with her parents. Apparently in Arizona where this is, your parents can say, yep, she wants to get a tattoo, we're going to let her get a tattoo. Mm-hmm. The owner of the tattoo place, he goes by the name Sosa, said that this child at 9 years old wanted a Trump tattoo on her neck. The man talked her into an American flag, which is on her shoulder. Probably the better choice. But this is the type of conversation that comes up when you're saying, maybe we shouldn't allow kids at 9 years old to make life-altering decisions. And people are up in arms because it's a tattoo. Mm-hmm. Had this been something else, had it been
her breast cut off
or whatever, then the conversation would have been completely different. That's the fascinating part of this story that I'm blown away by. $500 that they charged this 9-year-old, or the family of this 9-year-old, to get. And again, he talked her into not getting the neck tattoo, but the American flag tattooed on her arm. This is the cultural rot that I feel like we're up against, and these are Trump supporters. Yeah, obviously. No, I mean, stupid decision. You need to have your brain examined.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Number one, love tattoos. think they're, artistic and beautiful, and I love the artists that do them. I think it's appropriate if you want them at the age of 18, you make that decision. That's what I tell my son. If he wants to get a tattoo, he's never asked, but, I've told him many times, you want to get a tattoo, you want to do your own art, all that, cool. When you turn 18. That's the way it works. I don't care. I'm not going to play the game of, the laugh that, oh, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And, it's just stupid all around.
You're a terrible parent either way.
Yeah. Of course.
Simply. Now,
without a doubt,
long-term damage, is it worse to get a tattoo or to get your breast removed? I'd probably argue your breast removed.
Yes.
100%.
100%. It still goes
but
back to...
But it's the same discussion.
Dumb.
It still goes back to the long-term damage that you're doing to somebody.
Unbelievable.
And a tattoo, in my opinion, does not do the same long-term damage as removing somebody's genitalia.
Of course.
No,
but
it's still a bad decision and bad parenting.
A growing kid.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, I feel like these are the same arguments. Right, like this
they shouldn't be. That's my point is that it all falls under bad parenting.
That's right.
But how insane must you be to think that in order to a tattoo isn't removing your genitals?
No, I know that. Yeah. I know that.
And they aren't the same ballpark.
No, not even close.
You're right.
We're talking about worlds apart.
You can actually
but still, it all comes back to bad parenting based on craziness.
Yeah, you can have the tattoo removed.
Yeah, right.
Okay, you can have it removed eventually as you grow and your child's in sun and everything else. It will fade and you can have it removed at one point. You can't reverse what they want to do to children today. Right. But Carlos is 100% right. These are bad parenting decisions. Absolutely. Much like allowing my son to ride his bike down the middle of the street. It's a bad parenting decision. I don't see the difference in between any three of them at that point when it comes to it. But this is going to make headlines because this has been the political rhetoric. Oh, you never let your kid go get a tattoo, and then somebody does it with a Trump. That's just horrible parenting. Horrible, man. I can't even believe it, to be honest with you.
And the interesting portion for me is that then you'll have you've been making this like a tattoo, and look, now your side will even go get a tattoo. It's like, so you took the most extreme scenario, and you're still trying to equate it to me having your genitalia removed.
Exactly right.
Yeah. But you always see these groups and these groups of people that go to the extreme, Carlos. They take one example of a bad situation and go, well, that must be all of MAGA. That must be all of the Democrats. And it doesn't always come down that way. It just happens there's a groupthink when it comes to, mutilating your children. I think most people that listen to our radio station right now are going, what kind of idiot family would say, you can get a Trump tattoo on your neck in the first place? The only way I'd ever let my son get a tattoo, let's say he had some kind of, maybe disease, skin disease, something that covered it up or something, issue. A medical issue, sure. Maybe tattoo eyebrows on a kid who, those kind of things. Fine. But a Trump tattoo, I tell my son, get out of here. We're going to go speak to a psychologist now.
They're up in arms over this, but they aren't over the other. That's where my issue falls.
Oh, absolutely.
That's where my issue falls.
Yeah, they're
right there.
They're hypocrites.
Of course.
They're absolute hypocrites.
It's just a great example.
It doesn't fit their narrative, no.
Great illustration of selective outrage.
No, that's why they lost.
That's right. And continue to
lose. That's why they keep losing.
Yeah.
They lack a level of common sense. The fact that I'm going to look at this and say, I think you're a bad parent either way, okay, that's a level of common sense.
Yep.
The fact that they will look at it and say, well, a tattoo sounds gross, but take her breasts off, justified.
That's just fine. And don't tell her parents.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
which one of us comes across as crazy in this regard?
Right.
Yeah. There's crazy, and then there's next level.
It just
crazy.
takes a lot to be mature.
And
here's the deal.
Because I almost think it doesn't.
I'm the most immature, fun person around. But when it comes to eliminating emotion and then thinking clearly, I am so much not like a woman.
Yeah.
I'm like I am the epitome of your general on the battlefield. Some people are going to die. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to make the right decisions moving forward.
You have to. Mm-hmm. You have to. It's exactly right.
Meanwhile, I will wear some silly socks on you and goof around like anybody and make jokes. And
come in dressed up on Halloween.
Exactly. All that stuff.
Yeah. You can do both. You can manage both.
Yeah, right.
You don't have to go all in crazy and just dress like a fool every single day.
Yeah. I could give it a try.
Yeah, you could. I think you should pickle Rick all day.
It's so uncomfortable to try and broadcast in a costume every Halloween.
So it would definitely be every day for sure. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. It's just a fascinating story. That's a story you will see today that will blow up. It started late last night where I started seeing it, and it has caught fire this morning. And this actually happened last year, but it is now kind of, I guess, coming to the forefront, coming to the attention of a lot of people. Kind of like Fonnie Willis. She's got some things that have been brought to her attention, like that she owes almost $22,000. My, how the mighty have fallen. Fonnie has been ordered by the court to pay the legal fees of Judicial Watch, which is nearly $22,000. I'd love to say that she's going to see the ill of her ways because of this judgment, but I think she'll be defiant till the bitter end. This is a woman that needs to be removed from office, charged with obstruction of justice. She should pay for the crimes she's committed. She won't. We all know that. People in high places don't ever have to pay for the crimes they commit. And Fonnie is one of them. This is unreal. Well, is it? No, I guess it's not unreal. The fact that she's actually having to pay the fine, I think, is like the most gratifying, because I don't expect that she'll be punished for anything else that she's done, including colluding with the White House to, charge Trump here in Georgia.
Yeah, I guess the only good news is that the, State House and the Congress and everybody else can investigate her now, and she can't, do much about that. She will probably end up paying this fine, but you don't think she'll appeal it and continue to do it and pretend like she's the good guy and
she'll be defiant till the end.
Oh, she'll be defiant to the end. She's going to play the game of, this is all about race and a woman in power and blah, blah, blah. The people have to remove her if they really want things accomplished in the city of Atlanta. But the voters don't care. They don't care about the crime rates. They don't care about what's happening. They don't care that the city is wasting their money on ridiculous things. They will continue to vote based on, party lines, and that's it, not what's best for their community. But Fonnie Willis will get away with this, like she'll get away with everything else, and it'll quietly go away, and hopefully she will. She's going to be as loud as she can going away, though.
As a responsible adult, Tug, if you were ever hit with a $21,000 fine, you should have about $10,000 in cash just around the house.
Yeah,
because
like on a pallet, maybe?
Because you grew up making sure that you just have this money around, right, Fonnie Willis?
Yeah, shouldn't
no
be an
big
issue.
Deal, right? Hey,
right over there in the corner.
I was always told you should have $10,000 laying around the house.
Yes.
Well, maybe her boo's got some.
What is it?
Maybe her boo.
Oh, yeah, Nathan Wade.
Yeah, she could borrow
that's
some money
not her
from
boo,
him.
though, remember?
Oh, it's not?
Yeah, that's what she said. And then they showed up together.
Well, that's weird.
When her daughter was driving on a
her
suspended
friend.
license or
Let me
whatever.
put that in quotes.
Her friend.
Maybe her friend
you
has
can't
some
just
money.
have a friend. Did you not listen to Bismarck?
You say she's just a friend.
Can't just have a friend.
I'm just glad that she caught at least this portion of it, because we're going to move on.
That's right.
You're not going to have Congress, whether it's been any of the investigations as to what was going on with her colluding with the White House. I don't know if that goes anywhere. I don't expect to see Trump assign some sort of special counsel to track down all these prosecutors that were doing what they were doing. It's almost as if Trump pointed it out. He's like, my success is revenge.
That's right, which is so, for me, validating and encouraging, because I continue to see their side fall off. Just like in the last segment, we talked about Pocahontas talking about the Christian tattoos of Pete Hegseth 3 weeks late. Right? She doesn't. They just throw anything they can against the wall, and they're like, maybe we'll get a little traction here. Well, you're 3 weeks late. You could, Matt, like you said, could have got traction maybe 3 weeks ago. That the time has passed. Like with this, Trump's not going to do anything, but we will see her have to pay this, and it's funny for not owning up to the collusion. And if nothing else happens, I at least in my back pocket goes, You had to pay the $22,000, didn't you?
I'd prefer for her to be disbarred and, yes, pay that money.
Sure.
I just don't believe
it's not
the
going to
direction
happen.
it's going to go.
Yeah.
But at least, basically, it will end her long-term political career. Like, she will never be anything bigger than DA in the city of Atlanta. Like, that is going to be the height of what Fonnie Willis got to, and she was promised a lot more if she did what she did.
She's doing this to
and
begin
here's
with.
the mess.
Yep, that's right.
Look, good. She's got 2 weeks to pay this. I doubt she will. Maybe she will. Maybe she will try to keep herself out of trouble. But she gets what she deserves. She continually tried to, and this is what they've done to Republicans all around, trying to bankrupt them, trying to, do everything they can so they can't defend themselves. And this is the, what she did was a witch hunt, and these are the repercussions for doing so.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, just simply, the woman took taxpayer money and gave it to her boyfriend in the interest of, I'm going to make sure that this man who's given me this, I'm going to pay him on the other end of it. And by the way, by the time he testifies in front of Congress, he has to tell Congress, I'm not actually qualified to do this. I had to go look up RICO law because I'd never done this.
Yeah, that's how ridiculous.
That's who she selected for that. That's the wasting of your taxpayer money.
Yeah, that's how ridiculous it all is. And now it's on a silver platter for everybody to see, and for those people who defended her to see that she is a corrupt and bad for the state of Georgia, bad for Atlanta, she's bad for everybody.
She'll end up paying this for one reason only, okay? This all comes from Judicial Watch, which was asking for any of the documents that show her collusion with the Department of Justice and Special Counsel Jack Smith. So she's been hiding this because she doesn't want those records in the open records request. That's why they said, hey, look, she's trying to get around giving these open records to these Judicial Watch. So she'll pay the $22,000. They still want the truth. We still want to know what the collusion was with Jack Smith and the Department of Justice. And this is her way. Hey, we'll pay that money in the attorney's fees, and that way we don't have to worry about doing what they want us to do.
We'll still get those documents at some point.
Eventually,
yeah.
You have to.
If my wife gave me $25,000 and said, we need to get a new roof, go get it taken care of, and I hired Joe Virgin River.
Oh, my.
Because he's got a hammer and a tool belt.
Bad idea.
Because I was like, well, he's my drinking buddy.
Yeah, he can do it.
So he'll take care of this.
It's easy.
Joe will get it all taken care of. That's the expenditure of your taxpayer money. That would be the exact same scenario. I brought in somebody who kind of has an idea. Joe knows which end the hammer is, but he's not qualified to put my roof up.
That's right. Absolutely right, man. And that's what she will continue to do, and that's what Atlanta will continue to vote for and continue to get if they keep her in office, which I bet they will. The budget for the state of Georgia, pretty good to be the governor of the state of Georgia, because Georgia is a great place to do business. We know that. Overall, as much as I disagree with Brian Kemp on certain things, about 80% of the time I agree with him. That other 20 is probably a little tumultuous as far as the way I look at he and I. But when it comes to the budget for Georgia, man, Rhino, we are in good shape, probably better shape than most states in the United States.
Yeah, we've got a great budget going in, but 2025 is going to deal some blows, and we got to figure out where to spend our money. But 2025, the legislation, the budget, everything that we're going to do is going to be good for all of Georgia. What are people looking for right now? This is why we vote local. This is why it's so important to pay attention to these, because not only will we get that budget, but we already have a influx of money. We've got money that we've saved up, which really does help. So what does the governor, what does the lieutenant governor, where do we want to prioritize our spending for the new year? Tax refunds. He wants to make sure that the people of Georgia get their money back. And he's done such a great job over the past few years in making sure, hey, we got a surplus. Let's go ahead and send that back to the taxpayers. Hurricane aid, I think, is one of the most important things when it gets to the budget. We need to make sure that everybody that was affected by these hurricanes, because we know the federal agencies aren't going to take care of them, let's work at the state agency. The other thing is we're working on child tax credits, more tax credits for people with children who need to get help, and make sure that it's happening. So these are good things that the Georgia GOP really is pushing forward compared to what the Democrats want.
I will be happy that Georgia moves on and continues to be competitive, continues to do the things that conservative values represent, or when conservative values are represented.
Yeah.
Especially in the budget. It's no different than Lois was talking about throwing away money. You can't do it. You have to make good, solid, fiscally responsible decisions. I feel like Brian Kemp's done that, to his credit.
And the good thing is this helps everybody in Atlanta, everybody in Georgia, the entire state. What Democrats want to do, by the way, is feed all school children every meal while they're in school. We don't need that. What else do they want to do? They want to make sure there's financial aid for college students, more financial aid that benefits only 12% of this population. So Georgia GOP doing the good work for all of Georgians.
When we continue on Extra 106.3, Donald Trump's border czar explains the importance of transparency in the deportation process. Next on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's Tug. The Morning Extra has you covered from 6 to 10, and Kimmer's got you on the ride home.
Basically speaking, I'll bet you that in most neighborhoods, kind of neighborly areas in most parts of this country, there's usually one old fart who's kind of an old guy, and he's kind of a funny guy in the neighborhood. He maybe an old geezer, or the people kind of talk about him, or it's just, somebody's an old coot, maybe a nice old guy, but he's just kind of, that's me. I'm the guy. I realized it's over the weekend. I'm driving. I see people, waving like, oh, he's so, I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm the guy. They see me out there washing my car by hand, grunting and groaning and wheezing. Oh, that poor bastard. He's going to drop dead one day. I swear they're going to find me curled up behind my car with a hose running.
Someone should go help him.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 3 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffers from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. We provide testosterone replacement therapy, the P-shot, and treatment for ED, PE, and Peyronie's disease. There's not just one therapy that can solve these complex issues. When you visit our clinic, you're going to see me. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. 404-777-1911. Total Body Therapy of Georgia. 404-777-1911. Online at tbtofga.com.
Being in an accident really bites. You need people around you that are going to make the whole process easier to deal with. I just described David Van Sant at Van Sant Law. He used to work for the insurance companies. What an advantage. He knows who to call, what to say, and they're not going to pull the wool over his eyes. Give him a call. Van Sant Law, 855-GA-INJURY, vansantlaw.com, 855-GA-INJURY.
Military veterans are eager to transfer their skills and experiences to civilian life, but lack trusted connections to expedite their path to success. The civilian world can be confusing, and veterans do not need to journey through it alone. When you reach out to the Warrior Alliance, we will guide you to the best-in-class resources that can lead you toward renewed purpose after serving our nation. Find out why thousands of warriors have found success after service after engaging with the Warrior Alliance. For assistance, go to thewarrioralliance.org or call 404-210-1776.
No one plans on going to jail, but at A Second Chance Bail Bonds, we believe everyone deserves a second chance. That's the driving force behind everything we do. If you or a loved one has been arrested across town or across the country, you need help now. A Second Chance Bail Bonds works fast with bondsmen throughout Atlanta to help expedite release within hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT. That's 404-BAIL-OUT or online at atlbail.com.
Hey, Georgia neighbors, it's time to expect more from your Medicare Advantage. Discover Sonder Health's custom plans tailored just for Georgians. Saunders offers unique benefits, including special plans for those living with chronic conditions. Some plans even come with grocery or gas benefits to support your overall well-being. Sonder Health makes it easy to get the coverage you need. See for yourself what today's Medicare Advantage can do for you. Visit SonderHealthPlans.com, a healthier state of life. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO and PPO with Medicare contracts. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Good morning. Here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Wednesday, January 8th, 2025. Roswell police report that one of their officers encountered a suspicious man at Regal Nissan on Holcomb Bridge Road earlier this morning. When the officer approached, the man reportedly rushed at him, leading to a physical altercation. The officer attempted to use a taser, but it was ineffective. Subsequently, the officer fired his gun, injuring the man, who is now in stable stable condition. This is a developing story, and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation has been called in to investigate. A suspect is in custody following a double shooting in the parking lot of the Consulate General of Honduras in Atlanta. Doraville police responded to a report of a shooting and discovered one person dead and another injured at the scene. The name of the suspect and victims have not been released. Any details of the incident remain under investigation. And Governor Kemp has announced preparations for a winter storm expected to hit the metro Atlanta region within the next 48 hours. Kemp stated that state agencies are coordinating with local officials to ensure the safety of Georgians ahead of the storm, which is forecasted to begin Friday morning. Meteorologists predict snow will reach the metro Atlanta area around 7 a.m. on Friday, potentially transitioning to freezing rain before 10 a.m. With your headlines, Scott Rhino, Extra 1063.
7 o'clock hours brought to you by Van Sant Law Group. If you're in an accident, make the right call. VanSantLaw.com. Tug, Rhino, and Lawson till 10. Transparency. That's what the Biden administration told us they were all about. They were going to be the most transparent. The adults were back. Things were going to be done the right way. And everybody knows that they didn't do that. I love the fact that Tom Holman is saying we are going to be transparent about our mass deportations. He said we're going to be transparent with the American way. We're going to show them how to do it the right way.
What will you be doing in the briefings? A list of deportees?
We'll be doing what the current administration isn't doing, Byron. We're going to be transparent with the American people. You know, we've said, President Trump has said, we're going to concentrate out of the gate on public safety threats and national security threats. So we want to tell the American people exactly what we're doing, who we're arresting, and how we're going about this. You know, a lot of people are claiming, you know, this mass deportation is going to be inhumane and it's racist. We're going to show the American people we know how to do this, and we're going to do it the right way. So we're going to be very transparent, letting the American people know exactly what we're doing every week.
Every week, going to hold a press conference saying what we're going to do. And I love that because I love the fact that most Americans, by and large, are in support of everything that Donald Trump has said that he wants to do. And they're starting with the obvious places. The people that are breaking the laws, that are, absolutely being criminal in their activity, whether it's theft, whether it's murder, rape, any of those things. You are the first to go, and the American people are behind that. I feel like 100%.
This is about conditioning. And what you have to do is for the first week or so, because it's not going to take long. We have a very short attention span. You need to give the numbers. We have detained 300 people. They have altogether have committed 400 felonies within this country.
Almost like a COVID ticker.
Here's exactly. Yep. So by the time you get to the third or fourth one, when you say we've detained 500 people, no one bats an eye. Nobody freaks out about 30 people, 500 people, 1,000 people. That is what the reason why they're doing it this way. They're conditioning you to not think of it poorly.
Yeah, no, listen, this was the importance of Mike Collins' bill yesterday, by the way. Democrats voted against the Laken-Riley Act because they know that this is step one. Donald Trump is already working on cleaning up this country and getting people in mass deportations, because what the Laken-Riley Act does is you pull the criminals out of each city, each state, each town, and what you do is you put them into jail because they're not supposed to be here, number one. Number two, they're criminals. That is the first step of the deportation, because that's where they're going to be taken from. That's why people are voting against it. But isn't that a brilliant step? Because what you need to do, I agree with both of you. You need to have almost a website like John Hopkins did that said, this is the crimes that this person is guilty of in your city, in your town. This is what they've been arrested for. This is why they're being deported.
Or even accused of.
Whatever it may be.
Look, these are the people that we're rounding up. If they are accused of doing this.
Show what they did.
Because, like you said about due process, I don't owe them anything. If they're accused of it, they got to go.
They are not a citizen. They are not due process in this country. In fact, I would be giving the numbers on not just the crimes that they've been accused of or convicted of or the reason why they're here. I'd be running down the stats of what they did in their home country and then their gang affiliation.
Yes.
Run it all there. Paint that picture for everybody so that you're not the push that you're going to get from the news media is that poor Hector, who just came over here looking for a better life, who's been painting houses for the last 5 years, he's on his way out. we ain't looking to get rid of Hector. Okay?
No.
That's not who you're trying to get rid of out of this country right now.
No.
At least in the first.
Yeah, no. We want to show, hey, this is Hector, even though the left said this about him. Here's his rap sheet. Here's what he did, and these are the tattoos that he has on his face. This is an affiliation of this gang. This is who this is. That's what it needs to be, and it needs to continue down that, because they will pick the best of, these criminals and say, but this guy's got 4 kids. Yeah, he has 4 kids. Maybe you shouldn't have robbed a store. Oh, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to feel sorry for you. Maybe you shouldn't have, chased down Laken Riley and killed her. Maybe we shouldn't have them raping our children. Maybe they shouldn't be breaking into our businesses or our homes or trafficking drugs. These are these people. This is why they're leaving.
What it's going to do when Tom Homan gets up in front of people and he starts listing out the criminality, I think that's really going to drive it home that people that were committing crimes in their areas of the world showed up here, and it wasn't like they suddenly just started playing by all the rules. They didn't. That's the point. That is what we've seen in these communities that are getting overrun by this sort of criminality. For as much as people were looking in Colorado and saying, wow, I can't believe they're taking over apartment buildings. It's happened in Texas and San Antonio.
Right. Yeah.
This is typical of what's going on.
New York too.
You have an epidemic right now in the NFL, and the league has made it clear to all the players. South American gangs are targeting you in your homes for robbery, and they've got high-tech surveillance to do it. These people came across the border and are like, it's open season, let's go get that money.
That's another thing, to incorporate celebrity. Because whether you like it or not, celebrity gets attention. When you make that a part of it too, then all of a sudden the mainstream media picks it up. It becomes the biggest story of all of them.
Read up on how many NFL players, NBA players, who have had their homes burglarized in the last 6 months.
Patrick Mahomes.
You'd be amazed by how many.
He's the picture of it, right? He's the
Dak Prescott, the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, just had $100,000 removed from his girlfriend's car. I mean, these people are under surveillance by high-end gangs that are not supposed to be here.
Yeah.
He's got $100,000
I was about to ask a question.
Who keeps $100,000 in the car, though?
It's jewelry and stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's not like stacks of cash.
No, it wasn't like stacks. It wasn't like Fonny stacks of cash. No.
Why do you have $100,000 in jewelry in your car too?
Probably not smart.
They don't.
Probably not smart.
Listen, you're making $50 million a year.
Yeah.
What's $100,000 of jewelry in your car, right?
Then why report it? If somebody, that to him's like $3. If somebody broke into my car, took $3 and left everything else, I'm like, I'm going to report it, but
anyway it goes,
I'm okay to lose that.
Anyway it goes, I love the fact that they know the target. They know how to handle this from a public relations standpoint. They've been planning this since before the election happened. And when they hit the ground running on January 20th, it is going to start, and it is going to be an avalanche of good news for Americans. And you're going to see Tom Homan once a week describing it to you, how we are fixing the problem that the Democrats and the Biden administration created.
Yeah, and again, this all is part of the same plan. This is why taking federal funding away from these sanctuary cities, if you want to be a sanctuary city, you're more than welcome to. You're just not going to get federal funding for having that. So what will end up happening, any of the criminals and everything, let them all go to the sanctuary cities and see how long those Democrats can stick by their convictions without any kind of federal money, without being paid to keep them, without buying their votes, how long they'll actually keep them in their cities before they join in and say, you know what, we're in on this. We got to get rid of these criminals. They're really destroying our community. Because I don't even think Denver would stick through this.
It was truly a genius move to make our problem your problem. Like in Texas, I grew up with this. This is what you have. You have legal immigration, and it floods your state, and then you got to deal with it in your schools. You got to deal with it in your hospitals. Once we started sending these people to blue cities, and once we started making it a point, hey, they want to be in New York? All right, let's put them in New York. Yeah. All right, let's bus them up there. And the administration was doing this on their own, to the tune of 400,000 people. But once it started flooding these communities, it's amazing how quickly it turned, where you have the John Fettermans of the world and a large amount of the electorate that are basically saying, get these people out of here.
Yep.
Yeah, I love the
New
fact
York turned redder because of it.
Yes, it did.
That was part of the reason why. You know what? This is
New Jersey, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
I mean,
put your money where your mouth is. You're going to run your mouth, then here's the money. We're pulling it back. Let's see how much longer you'll stick with bringing these people into your cities.
I was reading Axios last night, y'all, and I got
What's wrong with you?
Well, because I want to know what the other side thinks, right? I want to know what.
Why do you think I watch MSNBC?
Yeah. Why? Just trying to figure out what the crazies are thinking. And I had to steal Los's line, the most giant eye roll when they were telling me last night how bold Dark Brandon is in the twilight of his presidency.
I mean, keep living your little pipe dreams.
They had the eyes, the picture with the red eyes, the whole Dark Brandon thing. And so they talked about him pardoning his son Hunter, and then they brought up trolling Americans because that's what he did with the Liz Cheney Presidential Medal of Freedom. He was trolling Americans. Now, they conveniently left out in this article talking about how he is Dark Brandon and he's going out solidifying his legacy and all this crazy nonsense. They left out the 9/11 terrorists having the death penalty, which they served 3,000 Americans, taken off the table. And they joked, and I swear it was almost like a pull my finger article, pretending that Joe Biden was a part of any of these decisions to freaking begin with.
So Kamala Harris and Kamala HQ, if you've ever seen the staff that ran that, the oldest person, the managing director of it, was 27 years old, and everybody else was younger. And it ran the gamut of every single rainbow coalition you could possibly throw together. But what it was, and you understood, it was children with a potato gun.
Yes.
That's what it turned into. What you have at the last little death throes of this administration are the children with the potato gun. These are 25-year-olds that are thinking, what can we do to troll America on the way out? Let's bring in George Soros and give him a Presidential Medal of Freedom. These are jokes. These are people that are not serious.
That's why I called it pulling each other's finger, because that's what the entire article was.
Yeah, it's a joke. The whole administration is a joke. He hasn't accomplished anything for a majority of the American people. Not at all. And as they sit here and they talk about, well, they're going to bring down prices, they're going to fight price gouging, blah, blah, blah. Even if that was true, even if they were going to go after price gouging, why aren't they doing that? Instead, what they're doing is creating things to make it seem like he's a better president than he was. He doesn't even know who Dark Brandon is. Let's be honest. He thinks it's some leader over in another country that doesn't have light. So it doesn't matter what they want to do or how he wants to go out. The fact of the matter is the adults are back in the room. President Trump's not even in office, and we're already leading by example and getting things done. Dark Brandon will go down, disappear. So will this presidency. It's a joke. He hasn't done anything for the American people.
It was a coffee cup and a meme. That's all it really was.
Yeah.
And what in the big summation of what the presidency of Joe Biden has been, I don't know if you can do anything other than just calling it ineptitude and comedy.
Yeah, that's right. Here's the thing.
It was meant for us to laugh at.
And we are. And we do. But
think about where it came from.
Right.
Literally, it was an NBC person who was trying to change the way the audience at a NASCAR race was chanting because they were saying FJB.
Right.
And she goes,
they're saying, let's go Brandon.
Let's go Brandon. So their only thing of getting trolled by their own people, by the way. They did this to themselves. We picked up on it and laughed at how silly an NBC reporter was being at that time. And then they go, what do we do? Oh, let's create him into a character like Dark Brandon.
I mean, 20 years ago, we have George W. Bush, and we have the scenario of him screwing up the shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me, and screwing up the entire rundown of it, right? And that became like this, oh, look how he's dumb. We have hours of audio and video of Joe Biden not being a functional human that was covered up for 4 years. This was the greatest lie outside of the moon landing, maybe the greatest lie that's ever been pulled on, or COVID. Man, just a whole run of them, aren't they?
There's a bunch.
The greatest, that your president was a functional human being. Like, they flat out tried to tell you for 4 years this man is functional until he went up on stage in national television audience, and we went, oh my God, his brain is mush.
And now trying to save themselves, you have the folks at CBS going, well, that was the most underreported story. Right.
Yeah.
You're the reporter.
Yeah. Look,
that's the silliness of it all.
He fell off a bike month one.
But that's all part of why they, Axios and these places are writing this. They are trying to cover up for the fact that they totally let the country down by not really reporting the truth. And this is just their way of going out and trying to make him look better than he really was, because they all know he was a complete waste. For 4 years, this man had no idea what's going on, and they're trying to say, no, he did, because that's what Chuck Schumer said, right? Oh, no, it It wasn't that he's sharp as attack. And then it was, well, look, we got the Inflation Reduction Act. We got the Infrastructure Act done. We got this bipartisan act. He's one of the most successful presidents in the history of America. They're trying to cover up for how bad it was.
This is how you know how bad, because when things are this bad, when the outcomes are what they are, then you do have the media and the left by and large that does the same thing. But he's a really nice guy.
Such a nice
Jimmy
guy.
Carter's he's such a nice
love
guy.
of a father.
Joe Biden, I mean, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
That's all they
default
have.
to good
That's
guy.
what they have.
But the thing is, Jimmy Carter, you could argue that. Joe Biden, you can't.
No,
he's not a good guy.
But that's all
it
they've
never
got.
was. And here's the other thing. This whole article from Axios was nothing but red meat to the listeners or viewers, people that read their articles and their websites, subscribe to their emails or whatever. Because for them, this is, okay, this is all we have. We're going to serve this up to you.
Yeah.
And then at least we'll get a good laugh in our defeat.
They're celebrating that the economy will be destroyed because he's doing ridiculous things on the way out. That's what they're doing.
Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. Trump's plan to take Greenland and the Panama Canal is some good saber rattling.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
The Atlanta Hawks stole a win last night in Utah against the Jazz, 123-121. Down 3 with 4 seconds left, Utah's Colin Sexton drilled a game-tying three-pointer. The tie didn't last long, though, when Trae Young sank a half-court buzzer beater to win the game. Trae Young finished in double digits scoring. Atlanta's record now stands at 19-18, good enough for 7th in the East as they head to Phoenix to take on the Suns tomorrow night at 9. For Extra 106.3 Sports, I'm Joe Virgin.
Who doesn't want a great smile? The world seems brighter because it is. Hey, it's a Kimmer. How's it going? You know, that's only one reason to see my dentist, Dr. Dina Giesler at Atlanta Smiles. The other reason, of course, is to take care of your teeth, or they're going to make your life miserable. We all know that. But when's the last time you were smiling before you walked in the door like me? Because I know Dr. Dina and her staff are the happiest Kimmer babes you ever saw. We're going to fix me up, and I always take the gas. They tell me my best stories come out that way. And you can actually get a doggy right there, napping in my lap, a little doggy. I said, go ahead, work away. Dr. Dina's a Navy vet, ranked a master dentist, which only 1% can say. She's been doing veneers since before anybody even knew what that was. My first visit was 30 years ago. Cosmetic dentistry, cleaning, bridges, crowns, especially keeping your teeth and gums healthy to last as long as you do. Veterans automatic 10% discount. Just tell them when you call. Atlanta Smiles, 404-262-7733. It's atlantasmiles.com. Your new smile's waiting for you. atlantasmiles.com. Tell them the Kemper sent you. Ask for the doggy. atlantasmiles.com.
Hi, my name is Steve from Marietta, and we hired ATL Turfco to build our dream backyard golf setup. They installed a large 4-hole putting green, a sand bunker, a short game area, and did a full conversion to artificial grass around the pool with decorative retaining walls. ATL Turfco was really creative. They were efficient. The installation was a breeze. Price was completely reasonable, and I definitely appreciated their communication throughout the project. I would definitely recommend ATL Turfco to anybody thinking about doing a backyard makeover. You can check them out online right now at atlturfco.com.
I enjoy a good night's sleep, and I like to breathe while I'm sleeping. My wife appreciates that, too. That's why I wear a CPAP. You want the right machine. You want expert advice. You want all the supplies that go with it. You get it all at CPAPs, etc. in Alpharetta. Machines, masks, tubing, filters, cleaning supplies, all of it, and they ship nationwide. Walk-ins, by the way, are welcome. CPAPs, etc. Alpharetta, CPAPSETC.com.
This is Jonathan Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers, Atlanta's engagement ring and wedding band destination since 1939. Why? Easy. Hand-picked diamonds that just shine brighter at a value that can't be beat. An unbelievable selection of engagement rings and wedding bands, from classic to modern to off the wall, because, hey, you like what you like. And because we've been jewelers for generations, we can bring your dream ring to life with full custom abilities. If you're getting engaged, we make shopping for diamonds easy with Atlanta's best staff of trained gemologists. Tell us what matters to you, and we'll work together to get you the best value. We're a small family-owned business. We live here. We want you to like us. Already engaged? Congrats, you found your perfect match. Time for your ring to find its perfect match. Just bring yourself, your partner, stack them up, and try as many wedding band looks as you can dream up. Make it personal with touches like birthstones and engraving. So when it's time for the next chapter, come see Atlanta's most trusted jeweler since 1939, D. Geller & Son, in Atlanta, Kennesaw, and Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
The Morning Extra has you covered until 10 a.m. Then it's Glenn Beck, Clay Travis, and Buck Sexton at noon, and the Kimmer Show taking over at 3, only on Extra 106.3.
Tug, Rhino, and Los until 10. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. 404-741-1230 is the number. At Extra 106.3 across the social media platforms. Love to communicate with you there. Donald Trump had me rolling. I'm telling you, it was so funny to listen to Trump when he was talking about, obviously the Gulf of America.
Gulf of America.
Took me a minute to be able to get it to formulate it right.
Sounds great to me. I love
think
it.
It's fantastic, but to see people melt down over it was awesome.
It's like a live trolling job.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
we're going to do this, and I think it'll be beautiful.
And, we'll probably buy Greenland. We'll annex Canada, and we're taking down the Panama Canal back. What do you think about that? And just to watch the absolute meltdown. And again, the only person that handled it in stride, John Fetterman.
Yeah.
He was like, okay, if you're thinking about buying something like Greenland that's strategic, did people forget about the Louisiana Purchase? Did people forget about buying Alaska? Did they forget about those things? Fetterman's like, if it's strategic and it makes sense, why would we not discuss it? Why are people melting down? Why are people panicking?
It's not a troll job, by the way. Okay? This is not
Some of
something.
it is. Some of it is.
What do you think is a troll?
Gulf of America.
The Gulf of America.
That's a troll job.
Yeah, no, look, that is.
Yeah, but I'm just saying some of it. Yeah.
That might be. I don't expect. Look, I expect him to actually change it to Gulf of America. I really do, and I think you throw the flag down in the middle of the Gulf of America and you say we're going to drill here and we're going to take care of things. So I think it is a namesake for a good reason. The reason that
What reason?
Huh?
What reason?
Drilling.
It doesn't matter.
It does. The reason is to establish dominance. It's almost like planting a flag. That's all it is. I think he'll do it. I really do. Greenland and Panama, though, that's serious.
Well,
okay?
yeah.
And the reason that's so serious right now is Donald Trump understands what's coming. Donald Trump is ahead of everybody else on this. As people are thinking that this is a joke, that he's going to go buying Greenland, no, these are strategic because he knows what's going on with China. He knows what's going on with Russia. He has been briefed on national security with Chinese drones and things that are flying around. We are under attack every single day. Strategically, it is smart to use, and this is why he said we might need to use force. He didn't say it that way. He said, no, I'm not going to take it off the table. And part of that reason is
it's saber rattling.
We are under a threat. We are under one of the most dangerous threats that nobody's looking at, and it comes to China, it comes to Russia, and all the other, Iran and everybody else. These are strategic areas. The Panama Canal, we built it for a good reason. We need to control that. We need to control Greenland. He knows more than we do about it because of national security problems.
Nobody's arguing that part.
What I'm saying is that if you're talking about taking care of shipping lanes and resources, these things like the Panama Canal and Greenland totally make sense. What I'm pointing out is that if I decided tomorrow to call the moon the Rock of Tug, it doesn't change anything.
Right.
No.
It's a
Gulf
troll
of
job.
America is there just to troll you.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just
To
to
get people
pull you
worked up.
further off sides and you get crazy about it.
Absolutely right.
There's strategic stuff he's bringing up. Some of these things are just meant to get you irritated.
And especially with the Greenland thing, right? There's a reason that was a troll job that Don Jr. went there, right? That was completely what it was.
Oh, I don't know if it was a troll job.
I think so.
I think it was there to discuss the actual purchasing of Greenland and figuring out how that we can get this done for strategic regions to keep us safe from China, to keep us safe from Russia, to keep us safe from Iran.
Strategically, we need to have a good relationship in Greenland. Don Jr. went there to troll the Danish and to speak with the people, the 60,000 people that live in Greenland. That there is the tiniest bit of those people that live there that would like to secede from the Danish. And will that push them toward America? That's the hope. Because the Chinese are moving in, the Russians are moving in, and the same way with down in Panama. We know we need that. We have to have it. That's the reason we built it.
Yeah.
The Chinese are buddying up with the Panamanians. We created a coup to create Panama to begin with. So what he's doing is saber-rattling to say, Panama, if you don't act right, we will make this very difficult for you. Are we sending our military to take over the canal? No. But it's good, solid saber-rattling, and it makes sense strategically.
If you've ever seen how planes fly across the earth, it's not in a straight line. You take advantage of the curvature. Part of why you want an area like Greenland and why you have Alaska is that when it comes to early warning attacks, that's where they come from. Yep. They come over the Arctic Circle. So it makes total sense when he's talking about if it's a population of 56, 60,000 people, okay, it's Alpharetta. All right, we're trying to acquire you, Alpharetta. Come along with us because it's in both of our best interests.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, this is a free society, and it is something. So I don't think it's a troll job by Don Jr. going over there and speaking and getting the feel for people and how they feel about becoming a part of this country. I think that's a good, responsible way to get somebody who's involved in this administration to talk to people, to open up transparency and say, hey, this is why we think it's very important for you guys to join us. It protects everyone, including you, and you get the benefits of being a part of this wonderful nation that Donald Trump is going to control. I don't want to say control because people take that out, but lead in a good direction. And I think that's really important right now. You have to talk about the things that will protect this country and all of its citizens. This is the difference between a Biden administration who doesn't care about the sovereignty of the country and somebody who's looking at other areas to say, hey, how do we protect ourselves from invasion?
Yeah, like I said, I don't expect us to end up with Greenland anytime soon or the Panama Canal anytime soon, but I know that Donald Trump is using the leverage that he has to make better deals for the United States of America, and it comes down to simply not charging the American ships 2 and 3 times more than any other ship gets charged by going through there. So it is threatening, and he's walking. He's not walking softly. He's shouting and carrying a big stick.
You have to.
That's what's happening.
But I enjoyed it when the news media is asking, would you rule out military intervention? He's like, no, everything's on the table.
That's right. It's called saber rattling.
Exactly.
Well, that's what protection of the United States is. Sometimes you have to protect the United States, and that's what our military is there for. I think it's more than just the trade with China. China is controlling what goes in and out and through that Panama Canal, and they've already invaded this country with drones. We don't know what's coming over those ships, so if you have Chinese nationalists going, that ship's fine, let it go through, nobody else is checking what's coming through and coming across to this. It's a very big national security threat. I'm sorry if everybody thinks that's a troll job or it's a joke. It's not a joke. It's about protecting this country.
It's a joke.
No, the left is saying it's a joke.
Got it.
Nobody's blaming you two.
But
I'm talking about
the Gulf of America is a troll job.
That's a complete. But and it leads into the rest of the conversation because you've already drawn them off sides. Now you're at the steering wheel.
We're going to make it. The Gulf of America, it's going to be beautiful.
It's going to be beautiful.
I'm rubbing my hands together, maybe because, I don't know, I already sat through 4 years of this, recognizing that the man's going to get some stuff done that's helpful. At the same time, he's going to say things to draw you off sides.
The opposite of Biden, where he's closing everything up, essentially getting rid of $50 to $60 trillion worth of assets. We're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which has a beautiful ring that covers a lot of territory. The Gulf of America. What a beautiful name. And it's appropriate.
It is.
It's appropriate.
It changes nothing, but it gets them so incredibly upset.
It's so fun.
Did you see Dana Bash?
Yes.
Dana Bash?
Oh, she lost her mind.
She was losing it over those 3 things. He can't change the name. He doesn't have the authority to do that. And then it got to the important stuff, the Panama Canal that matters and Greenland that matters.
Let them go with that. And you know what he should do is put out a map with the new name.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene has already introduced.
He's going to sponsor it, like Trump's Gulf of America.
Well, because MTG already put together a bill saying we're going to change it. And
absolutely.
So, dude, all you're doing is drawing them off sides, to use Los's.
As I like to point out, Mexico comes from the antebellum era of this United States, so you don't really want to keep this. If we're changing military-based names and names of music groups because it might have a hint of Dixie-era politics, then Gulf of America sounds so much better, does it not?
I don't know why you wouldn't want it.
Yeah, the George Floyd Fentanyl Crisis Center.
Yeah. I
just start naming fun things.
I think it's terrific. I think it's so smart. And when I was, just reading about it and watching the reactions of people on social media, you could tell the people that got what was happening and the people that had no clue what was happening.
Yeah.
And it
is
was
fun to
right over
watch.
the head, and watch the meltdown.
But they think they're scoring points when the Harry Sissons and the Krasensteins of the world are on social media complaining about what he's saying. This is what you signed up for, America. I'm like, hell yeah, I got 4 years of comedy. This is great.
And I'm hoping we do. Look, it would be funny if he did. And I hope we take Canada, Greenland, and the Panama Canal.
Sure.
And Canada says, we're going to take back California and watch.
That's exactly right.
We've given these thoughts to this, and it sounds like it's better to be American.
That's
They're
right.
losing
I'm
it.
telling you, that's exactly right, Rhino.
Yeah.
When you have the Canadians saying, well, but we're going to claim the other states.
Yeah.
That is because they've already lost the argument.
Yeah,
they've already lost the
They're
discussion. In Copenhagen, they had the same issue. They changed their flag to more represent Greenland on the flag. They changed it yesterday to make sure that Greenland is more represented. They've already lost the argument.
Oh, yeah.
Because they don't understand what's happening, and they don't have the ability to negotiate with Donald Trump from a place of power when they're already losing.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
So they made a symbolic gesture that has no real power in it.
Just like Donald Trump did.
Gulf of America.
And he
Gulf of
led
America.
them to it.
Yes.
He watched them do it. He set them up for it.
Listen, I think we are dealing with a lot of threats in this country,
Of course
and
we
those,
are.
I'm glad he is addressing them in the way that he is. But I also know that whenever that man, I told you, he's 10% stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
He knows, how can I get you going wild? Because it only helps me.
What did Joe Rogan say? He's one of the funniest men he's ever met.
Yeah.
Should
The
be
best
doing stand-up.
troll job was that I've ever seen.
Like, he had to have known, like, our friend Buck Ballou, like, Buck would issue lines every now and then he would just kind of look at me with a smile on his face, would say nothing on air.
Dry
Just
humor.
like,
dry.
I got him again.
Got him.
He's got to be up there going, yeah, Gulf of America. It's going to be great. It's going to be beautiful. You'll love
They
it.
changed their flag to compete. I love it. The only leader they have on the left is telling his colleagues, settle down and stop freaking out. Next on Extra 106.3.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
A little memo to Donald J. Trump. In less than 2 weeks, you're going to be sworn in as president again, so maybe it's time to cut the crap and get serious. Denmark is not going to sell you Greenland, and you're not going to take it by military force. The Gulf of Mexico is going to remain the Gulf of Mexico. Canada is not going to become a state. They're too boring to be Americans. Besides, if you make Canada a state, then you're going to have to fight Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico becoming states. That would be 4 more Democrat senators on top of the 2 from Canada. You really want that? How about concentrating on some things you can actually do, some differences you might be able to make? Speaking of states, how about a repeal of the 17th Amendment? Get back to the system where the House of Representatives represent the people and the Senate represents the states. It was a great idea. Maybe we could see to it that no family has to pay any tribute taxes to the federal government until the basic needs of that family have been met. Food, shelter, clothing. There's a plan out there for that. Pay attention to it. Let's get that conversation going. Not talk about invading Greenland. Open the door to nuclear energy in this country. Nuclear power plants everywhere. Then we don't have to worry about offshore drilling and fracking and the rest of it. And while we're at it, let's get rid of some ridiculous regulations. No new rules until 2 regulations are taken off the books for everyone added, and start with the ridiculous unused Obama handicap spatulas. There's serious work to be done. Leave Greenland alone. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
This is Atlanta's new home for Fox News, Extra 106.3 FM.
Have you considered securing your family's future, protecting your hard-earned assets, navigating complex legal matters with ease? Nelson Elder Care Law is here to guide and empower you and your loved ones. As a family-owned and family-focused business, our mission is to exceed your expectations, offering absolute assurance and peace of mind. With our trademarked Absolute Protection Trust and expertise in customized estate planning, Medicaid crisis solutions, probate administration, guardianship, and conservatorship, Nelson Elder Care Law protects what matters most to you. Imagine a team dedicated to safeguarding your legacy every step of the way. Our flat fees ensure transparency, and our customized plans prioritize your family's specific needs. Are you worried about protecting your family and your legacy after you're gone? Let us help you ensure you're absolutely protected from whatever curveballs life may throw your way. Schedule a complimentary legacy planning meeting with our legal team in Marietta or Woodstock today. Contact us at 678-250-9355 or visit at nelsoneldercarelaw.com.
Get involved with Special Olympics Georgia today. Join Special Olympics Georgia for the 2025 State Indoor Winter Games in Emerson and Marietta, Georgia, January 31st through February 1st. Come out and watch Georgia's champions compete in sports like basketball, powerlifting, bowling, artistic gymnastics, and pickleball. To volunteer, head to specialolympicsga.org and click on the volunteer link. Thank you to our statewide sponsors, volunteers, and fans that come out to support these amazing athletes. Learn more at specialolympicsga.org.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
A pre-dawn nightmare in Southern California. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. 3 wildfires rage out of control.
It really looked like an apocalypse. You couldn't see. There was spot fires everywhere. There was trees coming down literally as we were driving, and multiple houses on fire.
Pasadena Fire Chief Chad Augustin just told Fox they've never had anything like this. Thousands of people had to evacuate quickly in Los Angeles County. Rachel Darvish fled Pacific Palisades, tells Fox.
I don't know if our house is still there. What I can tell you is I have a photo of our neighbor's house, which is gone. I have a photo of the neighbor's house across the street, which is gone.
An unknown number of homes and buildings have been torched by the wind-whipped flames.
This is probably going to be the most destructive, expensive fire in state history.
Fox's William Lajeunesse standing in front of homes on fire in Malibu.
And the houses that we're talking about start in the range of $2 to $3 million each. So firefighters are stretched to the limit. The high winds, 99 miles an hour in the mountains. Down here at the beach, around 40 to 50 miles an hour.
President Biden spent the night in L.A., and Fox's Lucas Tomlinson reports from the White House.
We did hear from the president in a statement, which I will read to you now. It says, quote, "My team and I are in touch with state and local officials, and I have offered any federal assistance that is needed. I urge the residents of the Pacific Palisades and the surrounding areas of Los Angeles to stay vigilant and listen to local officials."
Now, the strong winds prevented President Biden from going to dedicate 2 national monuments to preserve thousands of acres of land. That's rescheduled for next week. Now, President-elect Trump will meet with Senate Republicans today, the day after suggesting he might take military action to retake U.S. control of the Panama Canal and to acquire an island.
Greenland is an autonomous part of Denmark. The Danish Prime Minister is playing down fears of a major rift with the U.S. Greenland's leader insists the island is not for sale. He wants independence instead.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
This is Tucker Carlson. You're listening to Atlanta's only conservative talk station, Xtra 106.3. Worldwide on the Xtra app.
Tug, Rhino, and Los until 10. This is Xtra 106.3. 404-741-1230 at Xtra 106.3 across the social media platforms.
Each end will always show you what's important to them. So as we've had Fox News on our monitor, or that would be a television if it's in your house, When it's in a studio, it's a monitor.
It's a monitor. It sounds fancier.
That's right. So they have had the major wildfires that are all over the LA area. And that's what they've been covering for the better part of 10 hours. Morning Joe continues to show Jimmy Carter laying in state and has barely touched on the wildfires all morning.
It's par for the course. It's fitting for those clowns to do that. I mean, did y'all see, speaking of the wildfires, did you see where people abandoned their cars? It reminded me a little bit of snowpocalypse or ice apocalypse or whatever you want to call it that we had here in Atlanta, where people had to abandon their cars. Same thing happened out there, but because they couldn't get fire trucks in, they had to bulldoze them.
Yeah.
And push them out of the way.
That's nuts.
That's what MSNBC is missing right now. That's why they continue to lose.
And by the way, you do have the reports that the fire hydrants are out of water.
Yes, that's another thing.
Man, this is a disaster that, unfortunately we have weak leadership in charge right now still. And, we've got a few more weeks and then, common sense will come back through. But this is scary. I mean, a lot of people are losing their homes, and now they're going to understand when FEMA comes in and says, here's your $750 for your Malibu home, and don't get the help they need. This is a Democrat city, a Democrat state, and I hope they take care of their people, but it looks like it's going to be a big, big issue for so many poor people there.
Well, it was easy to ignore the Carolinas. It was easy to look at them and be like, these rednecks, these people that live up in the mountains, now they're living in tents. All right, what has gone on? And you can point out, like, for instance, the actor James Woods. He talked about how in his neighborhood, the amount of people who had their fire policies canceled recently. So when your house burns to the ground and you're looking for help, insurance, the first thing they do is say, well, you didn't have fire.
Yeah.
Sorry about your luck.
This is like Malibu, too. When they didn't take care of the people. I'm sorry, not Malibu.
Maui.
This is what they didn't do for the people of Maui. I hope it doesn't happen to a lot of the people out there in California. And people aren't going to feel as sorry for some of these people. And that's just unfortunate that, they have so much money, they'll be fine, this, that, and the other. No, I mean, they
won't get help from the federal government.
They will get zero help. And that's the scary part.
Just like the folks.
But Biden's out there waving.
Yeah,
he's out there waving.
It's good. And I keep seeing the videos pop up from 2018 with Donald Trump speaking with Gavin Newsom, and there's some reporters around, and they're standing in front of what is a burned down forest, pretty much. And Trump was talking about how you have to do these controlled burns, just like we do in Georgia.
Underbrush, yeah.
The underbrush. And here we are in 2025, and they're experiencing the same things because they didn't do it, probably to spite Donald Trump. Not to help themselves, but despite Donald Trump.
They don't believe in doing it because they feel it is a disturbance to the wildlife in the area. So your far left lunacy in terms of your environmentalists are not allowing you to take care of the underbrush problems that go on. Now, this gets taken care of in Georgia, in Florida, in Alabama. If you've ever seen it, if you've ever been driving on the highway and you're seeing, well, why is that area burning? It's not a full burn. It's the underbrush that's just being taken care of because that's the kindle. That's what gets all of these huge fires going. And in California, because of the nature of what goes on, a lightning strike can set off a crazy fire there.
And they will continue to suffer.
And 100-mile-an-hour winds?
Dude,
okay, that stuff is blowing everywhere.
It is. There's no stopping it. This is going to be...
It's going to be bad.
It's already bad.
It's already apocalyptic bad.
Yeah, it's getting worse as we speak. And then, like you said, MSNBC... They're
nothing at all.
Not even a mention.
Nothing.
That's what they do.
No, it's Gulf of America. All your coverage is going to be about Gulf of America and taking Greenland and Panama by force. No, I'm just looking at everybody else, like NBC, Routers and AP and all of them. It's all about that. They're missing the story and missing what American people are going through.
MSNBC is doing a story and a panel on misinformation. While California, the LA area is burning to the ground, they're doing a panel on misinformation.
This is a...
finally, look.
Here we go.
There we go. Wildfires scorched Southern California. They just now got to it.
We're only at 8:07, 8:08. Yeah, welcome to the show,
Top of the hour.
I guess.
What's the most important thing?
Oh, my goodness. They just do... They wonder why the Democrats lose, and they wonder why their network loses. Because they have no idea which way's up. They have no idea what's important because their ideology gets them pulled off sides, as you would say, Los. That's what happens. 2025, we've got so much to look forward to with Donald Trump taking office on the 20th. You have people like John Fetterman, who is the most logical and I guess the Democrat that makes the most sense, or at least he's the one that's out front that makes sense. I don't always agree with him, but I can at least respect the man for being out there saying, here's the things that I think are important, and here's where you're overreacting.
I've got a friend of mine who did not vote for Trump in 2016, voted for him in 2020, typically always votes Republican. And I remember him telling me 2 years ago, I think I'm going to vote for John Fetterman. And I was like, wait a minute, hold on a second. Why are you going to vote for John Fetterman? And considering that you do have it's a toss-up state, it's a purple state in Pennsylvania, you can go either way, anytime. He felt like this person, even though they were Democrat, made the most sense in terms of being able to speak the common man language. That was what the appeal of Fetterman was before he had the stroke. It was the stuff he said. Take a listen. This is now, when you look at the Lake and Riley Act that has gone through the House, it is now coming up in the Senate. Fetterman's the person who's bringing this up for vote here. He went on Fox News and started talking about the importance of it and how if Democrats don't get their act together on this sort of immigration policy, they're going to keep losing.
Like, it's really common sense. And I'd like to remind everybody that we have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of migrants here illegally that have convicted of crimes. And why, I don't know why, who wants to defend that, to allow them to remain in our nation? They're that. And now, if you're here illegally and you're committing crimes and those things, I don't know why anybody thinks that it's controversial that they all need to go.
Do you think that this was one of, if not the biggest issue for this election?
Well, I think if we can't, there's 47 of us in the Senate, and if we can't pull up with 7 votes, if we can't get at least 7 out of 47, and if we can't, then that's the reason why we lost. That's one of them. That's one of why we lost, in part.
He ain't wrong.
He doesn't sound
he didn't mince words.
That crazy Democrat sort of language. That's more of like, I'm a Democrat, but this is a straight shooter issue here.
It's so common sense. But that's the one thing when he starts out, he's like, I don't understand why anybody would think this is controversial at all. I'm like, well, we'll take a step back, Johnny. Your entire party does.
Yeah.
I mean, that's you're the only one that sounds like you've got any common sense whatsoever. And I love the fact that you put it that way with your friend saying he's the common man. That's what won this election for Donald Trump, was being the common man.
Yeah, I think Fetterman has a lot more common sense and ability to critical think, which is crazy to think about, seeing that, he went through a lot with the stroke and everything else. But, this is the common sense Democrats that we're looking for, that will work bipartisanly to help save America and help make America great again. And John Fetterman's doing a good job. It's common sense to think, hey, we don't want criminals in our neighborhood, around our kids, around ourselves, around our wives. There's no reason that Americans should suffer from criminals. Nobody is sitting here and saying, hey, let's go in to find people who have work visas that came here in a legal manner, and we're going to pull them out of the street, pull them out of their house, throw them on the ground, check all their credentials, throw them in jail. That's not what's going on. I know that's what the left wants to, pretend that's what's going to happen, but the reality is John Fetterman understands we got to get rid of criminals and take care of the people who need help that are actually American citizens.
Safer neighborhoods, safer communities, that should not be a controversial standpoint. And if you want to tell me, similar to what Rhino was pointing out, the left is going to go to the extreme that suddenly people that are here as, let's say, you're a student, you're at Georgia Tech, and suddenly you're going to get pulled over on the street and then detained, and they'll kick you out of this country because you're here as a student on a student visa. It's not what we're talking about. It's not.
Silly to even say
but
it.
if we can at least establish that people that are here illegally committing crimes, can we both agree that they should be on the way out?
Yep.
I don't think that's extreme. I think that's very much what Fetterman is saying.
That's right. I don't know how anybody with unless they have an agenda, they can look at this and go, yes. Anybody that's creating an unsafe environment for our families and our children in our streets, they got to go. And that's why Tom Holman was so vocal about it, too. And he's like, we're going to be very transparent with what we're doing. We are going after the criminals. That's the first step. Now, that's going to take a while. It's not like that's going to be done in 6 weeks, 8 weeks, a year. Dude, this could take a couple years to get it all done.
Yeah.
And because some people were upset saying, well, they're only going after the criminals. We want everybody that came over illegally out. Yeah, I get it.
Okay.
I get that, too.
start with the worst.
That's where you start. And this is a process that is going to be expensive and take time.
Yeah.
Get ready for it. Buckle your seatbelt.
Yeah, that's the importance of Mike Collins' bill is, you know what, we start putting the criminals in jail. We put them in the holding centers and, hey, this is a criminal. This is what they've done. And Carlos brought up earlier in the show, you know, and you can go back and listen on the app because I think it was brilliant what he talked about. Hey, let's get transparent here. Let's go ahead and put out a website just like they did with COVID, showing who these people are. We're going to put those in jail. We're going to get them deported. We're going to get those people out first. This is a common sense thing to protect the American people in your community.
Similar to what we saw during Trump's first administration, you had adjustments made by people around the world. They realized America was not open for business, okay? That's how that went. I firmly believe you're going to have people that have enjoyed a number of years in this country and living off the teat of government, and they're going to self-deport. Because they're going to realize the money ain't coming for me anymore, and you're not taking care of me in this hotel anymore, and you're not giving me the health care that I want anymore. You're going to find people that will move on to a different situation.
I can't wait for it to happen because I think it's good for America. I love the approach that they're taking with transparency. That's what we all ask for. That's what we demand of our government. Because, I was talking about this with my wife last night. Yes, I support Trump. Yes, I support the people. Anytime someone has power, they need to be monitored. It doesn't matter who they are. Power and money corrupts. We know that. So the transparency being there, I think, is the key piece of making this an actual success.
Sure. I guess I wonder about political capital because everyone has political capital. How much do you have to spend? And the first time around, Donald Trump used that in order to get tax cuts. And that worked out, spurred the economy, made it across the board. Everybody got a tax cut. Love that. If you're telling me we're going to extend those tax cuts, I'd like for you to use your political capital there.
Yeah.
I wonder how much you're going to burn up as you go with these deportations, that it's not going to be instantaneous. It will get ugly, and people are going to end up, you know, in my opinion, having demonstrations talking about how unfair this is.
Sure.
America's ugly.
But I think most Americans are behind it, and I think that's where the transparency.
For how long? Like that capital gets spent, you know?
I get it. But I think that's where the transparency comes from, though. If you, like you said earlier, one of you guys said setting up the website, making sure we got the ticker, explaining who we're deporting, why we're deporting them. I think that extends that political capital really a long time. But back to transparency, people want to know that they're being told the truth.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard to argue if you have transparency on a website and said, hey, this guy raped 3 people in Mexico, or he killed this person.
Here's the crime they committed back home before they got there.
Did. Yep. How do you defend that? How does Elizabeth Warren come out and go, well, he deserves a second chance here in this country, even though he came over here and ran somebody over with a car?
If that were to happen, Rhino, that actually adds to Trump's political capital because of the silliness that the Democrats are.
Exactly. I think it also highlights that there are people here that are dangerous.
Yes.
Like, as much as you think about that person who comes over and he's done some manual labor for you, or that person who dropped off your Uber Eats, and the person who's just trying to make a better life for themselves, just as any one of us would if we were living in a country and we were pretty destitute. We come here and we try to make something happen for 100%. Ourselves. Those are not the ones that I'm saying I'm putting a website together and I'm showing you the crimes they committed when they were in Afghanistan or China or wherever, because they're from all over the world.
Right.
Yeah,
they're from everywhere. The troll job by Donald Trump was fantastic in the Gulf of America. Rhino, as we discussed last hour, this is brilliant because the left doesn't know what to do with it, and it keeps their eye off the ball. They're focused on the wrong things, so Donald Trump is working to get the right things done.
Maybe this is the way of saying, hey, you know what? He may have deported all them, but at least he didn't rename the Gulf of Mexico Gulf of America. Like, maybe this is just part of that distraction. But yeah, look, this is to get people to just be outraged about silly things while we actually get work done. I think it's brilliant. I think it's fun. Like, plant your flag right in the middle of the Gulf and say, hey, Gulf of America. I'd love it. I'd love it if it actually happened. If it does happen, cool, but it doesn't really mean anything except it'll just drive the left crazy and give them something to make themselves look foolish about.
So they're
something else to make themselves look foolish about.
One of their buzzwords, and remember, all of this is poll tested, all of this is suggested. If there's anything we learn from the Podesta emails from the better part of a decade ago, is the coordination between the DNC and the talking points they want out there for their media outlets. One of the things that they have gone to is price of eggs. And they're always, every social media influence out there, you voted for price of eggs, and now look, and they then insert whatever the insult is supposed to be.
The new issue.
Gulf of America was one that when you compare it with price of eggs, looked so ridiculous. You voted for price of egg change and said you're getting Gulf of America. I'm like, why not get both?
That's right.
But I'm just saying, it's a punch from a boxer that's not landing anywhere.
Right.
Yeah. I love the fact that I can sit back and laugh at this routine, knowing and feeling confident that there's a plan in place once these people are focused on the wrong things to get real work for the American people done that hasn't been done in 4 years. Just like we were talking about with Joe Biden with the wildfires.
Yeah.
Where is he?
Yeah.
I've not seen Joe Biden.
No.
I've not heard from the
he was in
president.
L.A.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Why is he not in front of a camera going, we're going to work to fix this. We've got to do better. We've got to help. Me and my
Tug,
team.
you know better.
We're helping out. No, I know, of course.
He can't do that.
Which is why
it's scary.
Knowing what's coming in 12 days is so encouraging. You have a president who can't do anything, don't have the desire to do anything a lot of times, and then one incoming that is literally going to take the best desires, the best intentions for America, and make those his goals.
Yeah, look, he is going to keep doing what he needs to do to get people distracted. Let the Harry Sistons all complain about that while we get common sense legislation. Because when you look at the Lake and Riley Act, you go, yeah, that makes sense. I don't know what he's talking about the Gulf of America, but this makes sense. Let it go through, and that's it.
This is a really funny tweet. This guy, CJ Murdoch, that just said, me walking into a restaurant and he's like strutting in. It says, asking for shrimp from the Gulf of America.
I'm doing it next time.
Does that come from the Gulf of America?
Is it shrimp from the Gulf of America?
If it's not, I don't want any part of it.
I want those Gulf of America oysters.
Take it back. Sir, take it back. I'll have none of that. Morning Xtra, Xtra 106.3, 8 o'clock hours brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier experts. On a day where it's like 24 degrees outside, if your house isn't perfectly toasty warm, why? You probably didn't call Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Chuck and his team, you should, at 770-GET-HEAT or go to centralheat.com. When we come back, Trump's cabinet selections get put in the spotlight next week. The legend Neil Bortz is only on Xtra 106.3. Hey, it's Tug, and here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
Everybody out there hiding the sad decline of Joe Biden, the President of the United States. They knew about this. They understood that he was in severe cognitive decline. They understood that he was in no shape to be running this country. And understanding that, they had to wonder who is calling the shots. Yeah, the Democrats knew it, but it wasn't their job to report it to us, to let us know. The mainstream media knew it. It was their job to let us know, but they failed miserably and intentionally.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Xtra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Xtra 106.3 app.
This is Steve.
Hey.
And his good friend named Enos. They're inseparable, but Enos has a real problem. He's not the Enos he used to be. For years, he was on top of his game, a power hitter. Enos used to stand out in the crowd.
Hey, there's Enos.
But one day things changed. As Enos got older, he couldn't perform like he used to.
Enos.
He had trouble getting up for work.
Enos.
He'd fall asleep on the job.
Enos?
Enos knew something was wrong, so he reached out to Steve for help. Steve did some research and suspected Enos was struggling with ED. Then he heard a commercial on the radio for Dr. Deal and Total Body Therapy of Georgia. They could fix Enos. So Steve gave Enos a lift to Dr. Deal's, and within hours, he was back in the game, swinging like a champ with an action plan and a new attitude.
Oh, Enos.
So the moral of the story is, if your friend Enos is struggling with ED, remember Dr. Deal and Total Body Therapy of Georgia. Learn more at tbtofga.com.
Look out. I think your health insurance premiums just went up again. Hey, it's the Kimmer. How's it going? Hey, I got great news. If you're tired of those skyrocketing health insurance premiums, introducing Trump Care. If you're healthy and self-employed, small business owner, close to Medicare, even on a COBRA plan, Health Insurance Doctors got you covered. How about saving up to 60% on annual premiums with Trump Care plans? Nationwide PPO network. Let you see any doctor, any hospital, plus 0 deductibles, no co-pays. The best part, plans are available year-round. No more open enrollment, no hard-to-get subsidies, no IRS penalties. Oh, guess what? It's free to you. You don't have to pay them to do it. The Health Insurance Doctor for decades, proudly serving the metro Atlanta area. Thousands of happy customers. Here's a free number to get a quote, 678-523-0759. Visit healthinsurancedoctor.net. Here's the number again. Again, there's no charge to you, 678-523-0759. On the web, healthinsurancedoctor.net.
Securing America.
It is the first major bill approved by the 119th Congress. The Laken Riley Act passed the House with bipartisan support.
The yeas are 264 and the nays are 159.
House Speaker Mike Johnson says one of the two things the bill would do is further empower federal law enforcement to
detain and deport illegal aliens who commit burglary, theft, larceny, shoplifting, certainly.
Additionally, the act lets states sue the Department of Homeland Security if harm because of illegal immigration comes to their citizens. House Democrat Pete Aguilar was a nay, saying the bill had flaws to be worked out before Republicans pushed it through.
It did not come up before the Judiciary Committee. This has not gone through the normal traditional process.
Still, 48 Democrats joined every House Republican to pass it. The Senate set January 10th. Laken Riley's birthday, to take up the bill. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Good morning. Here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Wednesday, January 8th, 2025. Roswell police report that one of their officers encountered a suspicious man at Regal Nissan on Holcomb Bridge Road earlier this morning. When the officer approached, the man reportedly rushed at him, leading to a physical altercation. The officer attempted to use a taser, but it was ineffective. Subsequently, the officer fired his gun, injuring the man, who is now in stable condition. This is a developing story, and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation has been called in to investigate. A suspect is in custody following a double shooting in the parking lot of the Consulate General of Honduras in Atlanta. Doraville police responded to a report of a shooting and discovered one person dead and another injured at the scene. The name of the suspect and victims have not been released. Any details of the incident remain under investigation. And Governor Kemp has announced preparations for a winter storm expected to hit the metro Atlanta region within the next 48 hours. Kemp stated that state agencies are coordinating with local officials to ensure the safety of Georgians ahead of the storm, which is forecasted to begin Friday morning. Meteorologists predict snow will reach the metro Atlanta area around 7 a.m. on Friday, potentially transitioning to freezing rain before 10 a.m. With your headlines, Scott Rhino, Extra 1063.
8 o'clock hour brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning. And on a day like today, boy, you could use it. If your house ain't toasty warm, it can be. Call Chuck and his team, Central Heating and Air Conditioning, 770-GET-HEAT. CentralHeat.com is their website. It's going to get colder, too, with the threat of snow. Oh, my goodness. I said it aloud.
Snow.
With the threat of snow.
You finally come around.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think it's, I don't expect
it's going to happen.
Is it?
It's happening.
Okay. All right.
The forecast now, 48 hours out, our area of the state of Georgia is going to get a mix of snow and ice.
So now you've hit the nail on the head. Ice is what worries me. Snow,
Yes.
doesn't.
No, I like snow.
Yeah, it doesn't scare
Ice,
me.
I'm not a fan of.
Ice becomes a real issue, safety issue. That snow, whatever. Ice is the real deal, and we've seen what that can do to Atlanta if that were to happen.
And we've had essentially 48, 72 hours of freezing temperatures on the ground.
Yeah,
it's setting the stage, if you will. If it were to, ice is that's the thing.
It's like 25 degrees right now.
Ooh, Lord. I think it just went down, dude. It went to 20. It's 24. It actually went down a tick. We're headed in the wrong direction.
Definitely the wrong direction.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah, the funny part is if you go out there and you start to look at a weather map, you won't see any kind of weather storm that has, actually taken place yet because it's just starting to build. And they're afraid that this one that's going to actually start building in the area of Texas, Dallas area, Houston area, it's going to start picking up big time and get really cold throughout. You already saw through Nashville, Missouri, and those Kentucky obviously had a really big issue with snow. So I do expect that we'll get some, but it's going to be more northeast. I mean, the city of Atlanta is probably not going to get as much as, we will in Forsyth, Cherokee. Those areas are going to get a little bit deeper. So more of it is about, hey, yeah, the snow is going to be fine when it turns to rain and ice. There are two things that'll happen. If it goes back to snow, that ice gets covered and people think, hey, it's just snow. I'll drive on top of it. Yeah, bye.
I would like for us to refer to Winter Storm Cora as the Cobra.
Is that the name? Cora?
That's Winter Storm Cora. Just as if you want to go look at a weather map.
Last week.
We had Blair. Mm-hmm. Cora, just as Rhino's telling you, you are in the North Texas, Oklahoma area, and everything's going to blow this direction.
And it's getting big.
It is
like,
big.
Yeah, it's going to pick up huge.
That's a small picture, but that's how massive this thing is north of Louisiana.
It's going to pick up. It's interesting when it does happen in Georgia, like when there is snow that accumulates, not just the flurries that we see occasionally, but when it accumulates, it always comes from the south.
Yeah.
It never pushes down from the north. Like, even though people, they report on it like it does. Anytime it's ever happened, like in '93 when it was, 2 feet that we had never experienced before, and the world was shut down for 2 weeks, especially in the state of Georgia.
You're getting
it came from the south.
Yeah, it's always going to come up from the south because you're going to get a lot of moisture that's coming out of the Gulf of America and starting to really feed that storm.
The Cobra.
Yeah,
the Cobra.
The Cobra. Watch out for the Cobra.
It's on the way.
Cora the Cobra.
The Cobra is coming.
Dude, do we need to say it every 6 minutes?
Yes.
Do you think? Do we need to talk about Cora the Cobra?
Let everybody know. Warn them about the Cobra.
As if anybody has any questions.
Throw it around your office and just see how crazy the looks you're going to get. Like, why does he keep calling it the Cobra?
That's actually a good idea. We should do that here in our office.
Watch
just
out
be
for
like,
the Cobra.
Goodness, watch out for the Cobra.
Gotta get ready for the Cobra.
The Cora the Cobra is coming.
Yeah.
On Thursday, possibly Friday, and into Saturday.
May I make a suggestion?
Yes.
If you do have to travel or you are having to do anything, man, extra fuel, have some blankets.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Wool blanket.
Just in case. Because you never know. You just don't want to be caught up in any crazy situation. And if Snowpocalypse taught you anything, it was have some place that you can use the restroom and stay warm.
Yes. And keep your feet warm.
I'm a boy. I can use the restroom pretty much anywhere.
Buddy, we write your name.
Uh-huh. I'll do that Friday on the way down here.
Snow.
I ain't afraid.
I'm so not looking forward to sleeping on that couch.
We do.
Even if I get it, somebody will probably take it from me.
Well, either Tug or I.
Spoon.
Yeah.
Or Rhino, we can all spoon.
I'll be here Friday. If I have to take the Jeep down here, it's 4-wheel drive, I'm going to have a good old time coming down.
For sure.
I ain't afraid.
You need to demand yourself a hotel room on campus. And then, if they say, why don't you sleep on the couch? Be like, no, I'm not sleeping on the couch.
I'm not a peasant.
And don't let them, hey, listen, you can't let them put you on the other side of Cobb Parkway either because you can't get across that.
No.
You got to be right here at the Omni. That's what you need to demand.
Are we demanding it too?
Exactly.
We'll demand it too.
Demand it too, yes.
But we let Joe do it first and see the reaction. Then we'll go in there with common sense.
And let them know breakfast is on them too.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Say, I'm expensing breakfast.
Yeah.
And I'm staying over in the Omni.
Problem is, there will be nothing open in time. It's like when we stayed over for, was that the Doubletree we stayed in right here on the corner?
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's Doubletree.
You have Doubletree and you have a loft. Those are the two that they put us up in.
So Doubletree we stayed at, and I was coming down to go, come over here, and it was like, I don't know, 5:15 or whatever, or 5, I guess.
Took forever.
Well, but the problem was they were setting up the food. It didn't open for another hour. It didn't open until 6. That's where you get robbed right there. You come in hungry as a hostage.
Yeah, the hotel doesn't have breakfast till 6, so you're going to have Chick-fil-A delivered.
That's right. Now you're talking.
You think Chick-fil-A will be closed, though?
Yeah,
I'm with that.
I don't know. It doesn't happen often enough for us to know how people.
The only things that are ever open, and it's because they have their own meteorologist department. Waffle House.
Yeah,
always has. They're always ready.
The Waffle House Index.
Yeah.
Like during hurricane.
How many are closed? That tells you how dire the situation is.
And how far up is it?
All right.
Up the coast. That way you know.
Joe, we'll send you for the Waffle House.
Because you have all-wheel drive Subaru. from Subaru.
That's right.
That's absolutely
you
right.
You can get anywhere you want to with that all-wheel drive Subaru.
I've climbed mountains.
One of the safest
gone through
vehicles.
rivers, crossed oceans.
That's right.
No, you haven't. No,
absolutely true.
No, I don't believe.
I don't believe your parents let you take it out of the city.
desert.
That's right. When you see those outdoor shots of like the Subaru, no, that's Joe.
The ads.
Joe's been through the dunes.
That's the ads. Yeah. But those ads, those are legit, man. They do. They show them going.
Listen,
all those things that you referenced are in the ads.
I took the Subaru Outback. Now, it was a lot older probably than the one he had, but when I was out in Hawaii, that's what I took around the road to Hana instead of a Jeep, just because I really like the four-wheel capability of that Outback. It's a badass little car.
No doubt about it. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. What are you going to do? What is your thought process for the Cobra?
The Cobra.
Get ready for the Cobra.
That's right.
Stocking up at Total Wine.
That's right. Yes, need to stock up. I can't.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
I'm in dry January. I won't even be able to partake. I'll have to freeze to death, I suppose.
We'll be all right.
And I can't give in. I mean,
Joe, pick up for what Tug is not going to drink.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, just come in here with a brown bag.
Trash, too.
Yeah.
It's part of it. It's cold enough. It's what you do.
Absolutely. Look, if it gets cold enough, I'm liable to drop dry.
We huddle for warmth.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And drink brown liquor.
That's right. Senate confirmations set to begin next week. We expect most of them will cruise through with no problem, especially Pete Hegseth, even though that Pocahontas, Senator Warren from Massachusetts, says his tattoos make him a inside... what was the word? An inside threat.
An inside threat.
Yeah, it was so silly.
Yeah, it's such a joke. Listen, I think Hegseth and Patel are going to have the toughest of all of the confirmations, but I expect both of them to probably be able to get through, especially with the Senate majority being in the hands of the Republicans. The good news is that it looks like, and there's a lot of rumors and a lot has been heard about RFK Jr. It looks like he's set to be Human Health Services. But they did a lot of good work yesterday, because what ends up happening here is you got to get all your committees set in the Senate, and that's what they got done this week, and give credit to John Thune and everybody for getting everybody on the same page, making sure, hey, we've got all of the committee assignments done, both majority and minority assignments done. And what that does is you need to give a week's notice for confirmation hearings. So this set it up to get these confirmations going right away, which is very important.
As upset as the left is as of right now, I just want them to know something, and this will help calm them moving forward. Donald Trump isn't even in office yet. Isn't even in office.
And already making waves, already dictating what happens in other countries, and other countries' leaders are coming to him for what we're going to do moving forward. They don't even, Joe Biden's not even an afterthought.
Robert Kennedy doesn't have any real power yet. Kash Patel is not running the FBI yet. Pete Hegseth is not SecDef. And yet, here it's coming.
Yeah.
So enjoy. It's like, here's what it's going to be. And then you're going to be crying about it for 4 years. But I need you to recognize that if you think it's bad right now, just wait. It's going to get so much worse.
Wait till it happens.
The left is going to lose their mind over the next few weeks. And that's going to be the fun part of watching as common sense things start to happen. And Donald Trump, like you guys just said, he's doing more in a leadership role without being in office yet. They've done so much. Kash Patel, the nomination of him had people who we don't want in or part of the FBI actually leaving. They're leaving on their own accord. You don't even have to fire them. That's how great these appointments are. Same thing with, Pete Hegseth. You got people going, well, I'm going to go ahead and retire. I'm going to get out of here before you get good.
That's
good. RFK Jr., same thing. The FDA. Oh, I feel so horrible about the FDA jumping and all the people that don't want to work under a common sense guy like RFK Jr. Bye, leave, see ya. It saves a lot of money. So this is a good thing that's happening. I love the leadership. But the important part right now is the work that Donald Trump is doing behind the scenes, bringing people to Mar-a-Lago, bringing people in and saying, hey, here's where we need to go. This is the kind of agenda we need to have. And these are the people we need confirmed. I think this is brilliant. I'm glad they got all the rules out. There was no fighting in the rules yet as well yesterday. They just got them done.
If 2017 to, let's say, late 2019, start of 2020, made you miserable, All right, this time he actually has a cabinet that has his back.
Not the one that got drafted for him.
This is different
He got to
this
pick his
time
own
around.
team.
He picked his own team. Instead of going, I've never had to legislate before, and I don't know what I'm doing in this town yet. I've run multinational companies, but I've never done this, so give me people that you're suggesting. That's not happening this time around.
Yeah.
And those people were part of undermining it. Remember, he had a House that actually believed in Russian collusion, so the Republicans had a hard time getting on board with him. This is going to make the left miserable for the next 2 months. Next 2 years is what it's really going to come down to. He actually has Team Trump this time.
Yeah, and I think it's a good job. Next Tuesday, the plan for Senate Republicans right now is to bring Senator Marco Rubio, Pete Hegseth, Brooke Rollins, and then Lee Zeldin in for their confirmation hearings. So you're starting it off with those. Then you've got the rest down the line with Kash Patel and the others that, people might be a little bit concerned about. Pam Bondi might be one of those people, too, next week that you get in front of the Senate confirmation hearings. So I'm looking forward to it. I love these confirmation hearings. I love seeing Democrats just kind of miss the entire boat on what they're supposed to be doing and making fools out of themselves, because they're going to distract and take away from what's actually happening and doing their job and asking relevant questions to going things like we heard from Senator Elizabeth Warren, because I can almost guarantee you she's going to ask him to explain his tattoos, and Pete Hegseth's going to be like, really, do I have to talk about my tattoos? Let's talk about my experience. I think these Senate hearings are going to make Democrats look completely ridiculous.
Yes, they will. And I expect everybody's getting confirmed. I really do.
Yeah.
Will some be a battle? Sure. But I expect all of them to get confirmed.
You're going to need some help.
Yeah.
You're going to need some help. And Democrats are refusing to help make this country great again. So anything that you have to do to make this country better, they're going to come and play this game of, well, Pete, I heard that you looked at a woman once.
This was not a close election.
Crickets.
Yeah.
Right? This was not a close election. You're going to have a president who's coming in who's wildly popular in comparison to the group that has been running this country. You better be careful. This is for everyone that's on that Democrat side, where you pick your battles when it comes to this stuff.
I think you're right.
Because people are going to look at you and turn it into, why are you wasting our time with some of this nonsense?
It's kind of the same way with if there was some sort of stumbling block on the Laken Riley Act in the Senate. The Democrats are going to look so bad. And maybe that's the wisdom of Donald Trump setting it up the way he has to make them say, I'm choosing illegals that are convicted of heinous crimes or Americans.
You're going to have midterm elections coming up in the better part of 24 months, a little bit less than that. And you're going to be able to say, if they don't vote for this, voted to keep criminals in the United States. And that's going to be a factor.
What China can do to you, not just our military, but to you and your family, should scare the devil out of you. We'll talk about it next on Extra 106.3 Tug, Rhino, and Los until 10.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
The Atlanta Hawks stole a win last night in Utah against the Jazz, 123-121. Down 3 with 4 seconds left, Utah's Colin Sexton drilled a game-tying three-pointer. The tie didn't last long, though, when Trae Young sank a half-court buzzer beater to win the game. Trae Young finished with 24 points and 20 assists, while 6 other Hawks finished in double-digit scoring. Atlanta's record now stands at 19-18, good enough for 7th in the East, as they head to Phoenix to take on the Suns tomorrow night at 9. For Extra 106.3 Sports, I'm Joe Virgin.
Hey, it's Los. Let's talk about Howard Brothers and Toro. Now, granted, it is cold this week. Your grass probably dormant. But before you know it, we're going to start getting into spring, and that's when you want your lawn looking its best. Well, what do? You go over to Howard Brothers. Talk to the professional people there. There's people who have been working at Howard Brothers 10, 20, 30 years. These are people with a large amount of expertise. So when it gets to cutting season, they can help you get the right Toro for the job. Now's the perfect time. Start getting prepared for spring. You're going to have a lot of these deals out there. Go check out Howard Brothers. This is that time period. Or if you got your Toro mower and you just got it last year, take it back to Howard Brothers. They can get it serviced for you and get everything ready for when the weather's going to warm up. The grass is always greener when you take care of it with Toro and with Howard Brothers.
Yellow Jacket fans, don't miss your chance to lock in your seat for the 2025 football season today. Next year's home slate is highlighted by the renewal of our rivalry with Clemson, as well as ACC matchup versus Pitt, Syracuse, and Virginia Tech. Into the end zone! Touchdown! Haynes King! All hail the King! Support head coach Brent Key and the Jackets on game day by visiting RamblingWreck.com/tickets to get your season tickets today. Sting 'em.
Hey, Georgia neighbors, it's time to expect more from your Medicare Advantage. Discover Sonder Health's custom plans tailored just for Georgians. Saunders offers unique benefits, including special plans for those living with chronic conditions. Some plans even come with grocery or gas benefits to support your overall well-being. Sonder Health makes it easy to get the coverage you need. See for yourself what today's Medicare Advantage can do for you. Visit SonderHealthPlans.com, a healthier state of life. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO and PPO with Medicare contracts. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
Neil Borch here. Maybe you've already taken the steps to improve your health, maybe save your life. You're using a CPAP for your sleep apnea. I've been using one for well over 20 years. So right now I'm here to tell you about a source for CPAPs and CPAP supplies here in the Atlanta area. CPAPs, etc. They're in Alpharetta. They have whatever you need. Roddy and Sharon are your CPAP experts, and they'll ship nationwide. More information, CPAPs.com.
Fox on Tech.
Meta now promises not to censor you going forward. Mark Zuckerberg, the chief of the company behind Facebook, Instagram, and Threads, had already admitted they were working with the Biden administration to police user postings that didn't mesh with White House policy on a number of topics, outsourcing content moderation. Zuckerberg now says they were pressured by third-party fact-checkers, but it was wrong, and it will change.
What started as a movement to be more inclusive has increasingly been used to shut down opinions and shut out people with different ideas, and it's gone too far. So I want to make sure that people can share their beliefs and experiences on our platforms.
Zuckerberg says Meta's platforms will now rely on something akin to X's community notes, a system championed by Elon Musk, where users can question or bolster each other's claims, citing sources, and having that information tagged to a post. With Fox on Tech, I'm Eben Brown, Fox News.
Did you miss Neil Bortz?
I am shocked.
Don't worry. He's live anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
Oh, that radio show.
Did traffic cause you to miss some of the Kimmer Show? Get it on the app.
It's all the kids talked about on Monday at school.
With anytime show replays from the Kimmer, Bortz, the Morning Extra, Clay and Buck, and so much more. Plus local headlines and breaking news. Grab the Extra 106.3 app now and start streaming.
We've been talking about trolling this morning, and I just ran across this, and it's a great troll. I want to read it to you. Justin Trudeau, who has now said he will step down as the leader of Canada, he said there isn't a snowball's chance in hell that Canada would become part of the United States. Workers and communities in both our countries benefit from being each other's biggest trade and security partner. To that, Elon Musk responds, "Girl, you're not even the governor of Canada anymore. It doesn't matter what you say."
Good old Justine.
Let's go.
Oh, God.
Dude, Elon Musk for the win this morning.
Elon put something up the other day that I was actually kind of shocked about. He called somebody a retard. Like,
Oh, wow.
just like
He
went
out there. Okay.
He went all out there, and I was like, wow, I'm kind of shocked by that. Again, I think it's inappropriate. But I do like the fact that people are just not afraid. Like, if he wants to say that, that's up to him. It's not something that I would say or do. Or
Well, I think it was in terms of the person was advocating for sex trafficking.
Yes.
So he was like, you realize that that's ridiculous, right?
Yeah. And again, because what Elon Musk did was talked about sex trafficking problems that they're having in the UK. And
they're major.
Yeah. And of course, he's given a hard time about, the Kirst over there telling everybody story that, hey, we're going to jail Elon as soon as we find him. It just came out as F-U, and then the R word behind it. And I was like, wow, he does not care at all anymore. But I think that's what we need to do, man. I mean, I think you just need to be like, we're not going to play your game with your words and whatever. If you're going to get offended, get offended. But this is the truth, and we're going to expose you for what it is.
Well, let's have honest conversations. That's what has been, it's been like the left's deodorant that they have gone to for the last 4 years. You can't have an honest conversation about anything because if you happen to, somebody could get upset, somebody could get offended, so you don't do any of it. Now we happen to have the richest man in the world who happens to align more with me than the other side, and he's speaking some truths that people don't want to hear about.
But that's the thing.
Or at least not on their end. I love it.
So little offends me, y'all.
Yeah.
I mean, really. But, I mean, there's so few things that actually offend me.
But what I think is brilliant about it is he knows the reaction that's going to get. It's going to get to every liberal that's going to see that word and go, oh, my God, and then read why that word, why would he say something like that? And then you have to go, well, you know what? I'd probably call that guy that if he was defending, child sex trafficking or the abuse of children, too. It really does. Not only is it a troll, but it wakes people up to have to actually dig deeper into why it was said. Yeah.
It's jarring.
Consider that on the other side, we have people that are trying to make minor attracted people sound like a regular thing. In fact, they're trying to make it into, listen, it's just a small disorder that people are having to deal with. No. That's what I'm saying. The remaking of words, they have done that so often in order to turn things that are grotesque into something where you go, well, I got to cut out a place in my heart because there are people that are minor attracted. No. And so if you're going to be direct with people, be direct with people. And it applies to everything. It applies to even, like, for instance, when you talk about China, China's not your friend.
Ever. No, and never will be. And they never will be. And this should scare the absolute ass out of everybody because it'll affect you and your family. FBI says China can turn off our water, communications, natural gas, any time they want to. We've told you about that on this show a million times. But if you recall, was it late last year? I don't know, October maybe of last year, when we were told that it actually happened. They were actually infiltrated water in Texas.
Colonial
Pipeline here in Atlanta. Yeah, we know all that happens. But I think you take it a step further, and I've talked about this for a long time. President Xi said they are going to invade Taiwan by 2027. This is the type of stuff that they would use to prevent us from lending the hand that we've agreed to lend to Taiwan. I mean, it's going to happen, and let's say it happened this week. Cold snap the country's seen, and including the Deep South. I mean, it would be complete chaos if they were able to turn off your natural gas, if they were able to turn off your communications, they were able to turn off your power so you couldn't keep anything, edible in the refrigerator. That would make American life go back to prehistoric times, or it would seem that way. So that's the thing that scares me, that I don't believe people take serious. When Lowe says China's not your friend, they are not.
Yeah.
And they are going to do whatever it takes to put themselves in the best position to be the world's lone superpower, including destroy you and your family's life.
For years, we've talked about the importance of protecting ourselves and having good, strong cybersecurity assets, because that's the new warfare, is cyber warfare. It's all about drones. It's all about, hopefully taking, look, I'd rather drones get blown up than our soldiers get blown up. So I'm much happier about that way of technology. But what is scary to me is we've gone so far in depending on electric energy and electric cars. If they shut down the power grids like they've been doing and like they can do easily, none of you going anywhere. You're not going to be able to charge. Yeah, you could get stuck everywhere. But this is a very, very serious problem that we're going to have. This is a problem with having drones come through. If you don't think those are testing areas, look, all it takes is one EMP to shut us down and really just kind of throw us back into the dark ages.
Wouldn't even need to do that, but yes, that would be one too.
You ever worked with, let's say, a manager, and maybe you didn't really care for them that much, but it was just kind of necessary, or maybe a salesperson where, you know what, you sold it, I'm working on it, we're both making something out of it, but you ain't crazy about each other. That's China.
Yeah.
China is our economic partner, but they ain't our friend. And so their long-term view is China, one world power. And what that means is being able to knock us down as many pegs as possible. Some of this is going to come down to just technology. They're trying to get it as fast as we are. That's why AI is so important on both ends of the spectrum. But if they can gain a financial piece of leverage on us outside of just our debt, because they can't afford for us to crater as an economy either. Mm-mm. But they want to make sure that they're calling the shots in the next century, not us.
That is the goal. And you could probably remember a couple weeks ago when the FBI also admitted, the federal government also admitted that the Chinese had hacked and infiltrated every phone carrier, Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile. They can see everything you do, every call you make, every text you send. Does that sound like a big deal? Maybe it isn't to you, but they can use it.
See me in all my adult content?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Oh, no. Oh, no, Joe.
But to take it further, though, if they have somebody that they can compromise, like, say, Joe Biden,
right,
or someone in his family, they have all the evidence in the world, and it's right there, and they're like, if you don't do what we ask, we are going to expose you to your entire country.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to
blackmail. It's going to work.
They're not going to go for Joe, and they're not going to expose the fact that he's been watching a sketch on OnlyFans. I mean, I know that he has. Everybody knows it by now, but it doesn't mean anything. No one's going after him. But yeah, they can hold our political leaders or hold people hostage. How many times has it happened? How many times have we seen, certain Democrats, especially over the last 2 years, that have been caught with gold bricks given to them by, Egypt and other areas? These kind of things will be brought out into the open. China is very dangerous for a lot of reasons, and I've been digging into a lot of stories about the drones, because they're about to do legislation where Chinese manufacturers who manufacture drones, much like TikTok, think about the spying capability of the drones that are manufactured in China that people are flying all over right now to do business. And a lot of those drones are manufactured by China, are the ones that are protecting us here in the city of Atlanta for the National Football Champion. This is very, very dangerous. And the technology behind China right now should scare a lot of people.
That 6th-generation stealth fighter that they just unveiled, I think the Pentagon's very nervous about that, and rightfully so. Probably stolen the plans for the U.S. fighter that would have done or behaved the same way. I mean, they don't do anything on their own. They take and steal. And, a friend of mine put it this way. The United States has the idea, the Japanese perfect it, with technology, and then the Chinese steal it. Yeah. That's kind of the route that everything takes.
Typically the track record of how it goes.
It just scares me, man, that I think so few people realize that the Chinese could flip a switch and shut the entire mechanism of the country down that we rely on: power, energy, communications, everything.
I recognize that because of the economic growth that's required there, that's what they have to have in order to maintain the party. The CCP depends on, they need regular economic growth or people will starve and people will rise up. We could wreck them if we wanted to, too. But at that point, it really does turn into mutually assured destruction.
Yeah, it does.
Between both of our countries, both these powers.
It's a scary sight, scary thought. Just all of it. You just need to be aware of it. Just don't put your head in the sand like the Democrats and the left would have you do. And the establishment Republicans who love that economic boost, that cheap labor, or the cheap stuff that comes across.
You bought all their phones, man.
Yeah, they've got one in my hand right now.
And on your watch.
And on my watch. I got 2 tracking devices.
Yeah, at this point, you know what? They're going to spy on you anyway. Don't worry about it.
I guess so. Biden has an 11th hour gift to the cartels as we start the bonus hour next on Xtra 106.3.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Xtra 106.3.
A little memo to Donald J. Trump. In less than 2 weeks, you're going to be sworn in as president again, so maybe it's time to cut the crap and get serious. Denmark is not going to sell you Greenland, and you're not going to take it by military force. The Gulf of Mexico is going to remain the Gulf of Mexico. Canada is not going to become a state. They're too boring to be Americans. Besides, if you make Canada a state, then you're going to have to fight Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico becoming states. That would be 4 more Democrat senators on top of the 2 from Canada. You really want that? How about concentrating on some things you can actually do, some differences you might be able to make? Speaking of states, how about a repeal of the 17th Amendment? Get back to the system where the House of Representatives represent the people and the Senate represents the states. It was a great idea. Maybe we could see to it that no family has to pay any tribute taxes to the federal government until the basic needs of that family have been met. Food, shelter, clothing. There's a plan out there for that. Pay attention to it. Let's get that conversation going. Not talk about invading Greenland. Open the door to nuclear energy in this country. Nuclear power plants everywhere. Then we don't have to worry about offshore drilling and fracking and the rest of it. And while we're at it, let's get rid of some ridiculous regulations. No new rules until 2 regulations are taken off the books for everyone added, and start with the ridiculous unused Obama handicap spatulas. There's serious work to be done. Leave Greenland alone. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3 FM.
Join Braves Vacations for some exciting road trips to historic cities and ballparks during the 2025 season. Fans can enjoy 3 games at Fenway Park in Boston to watch the Braves take on the Red Sox May 15th through the 19th, or head to Wrigley Field for 3 games against the Chicago Cubs, August 31st through September 3rd. Road trip packages include deluxe hotel accommodations, game tickets, exclusive events with Braves team personnel, unique excursions, select meals, optional airfare, and more. Visit braves.com/vacation to learn more.
At the Piedmont Bank, we're proud to be one of Georgia's largest community banks, focusing on serving businesses and the communities they serve. With headquarters right here in Metro Atlanta, our tailored banking expertise and solutions help meet the diverse needs of our customers so they have what it takes to grow, expand, and thrive. It's what elevates us above the rest. Find a location near you at Piedmont.bank and experience elevated banking for you and your business. The Piedmont Bank. Banking elevated. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watch Company, where quality and value make the difference. Locally owned and located in Sandy Springs, offering you the finest selection of unique diamonds, sapphires, rubies, and emerald jewelry, as well as other fine gemstones. Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watches has been servicing Rolex watches for over 30 years, and their Rolex-trained watchmaker will service your watch in their state-of-the-art Rolex service center in their store. Lee Brandt uses only genuine Rolex parts, and their estimates are free. Drop by Lee Brandt in the Trader Joe's Shopping Center in Sandy Springs or visit LeeBrandt.com.
Start your day the right way with Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra every morning from 6 to 10 a.m. on WFOM Marietta.
It's been a long, fiery overnight in the Los Angeles area. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
I've never seen anything. Fires were this close to the cars.
She's among the thousands of people who evacuated as 3 wildfires keep raging out of control, and she says some people ran, abandoning their cars from going away from the flames.
Burning up the hillside, the palm trees, everything's going.
Pasadena Fire Chief Chad Augustin tells Fox the hurricane-force wind gusts are a nightmare.
The fire is spreading so rapidly. By the time our crews pull hose lines and start trying to extinguish a fire, it's 3 houses down.
Well, William Lajeunesse is in Malibu.
We have seen roughly about 10 to 12 homes go up this morning since we've been here.
He says that's the situation along the Pacific Coast Highway.
These homes along the beach, which are remarkably cool out on the deck and so forth, overlooking the ocean, they're destroyed. And we're talking expensive homes.
And another fire has flared up in Riverside County. President Biden's in L.A. The strong winds postponed his plan to go dedicate 2 big new monuments preserving federal land. The president put out a statement offering whatever federal fire assistance Southern California needs. President-elect Trump escalating his legal fight against convictions in New York for falsifying business records. He calls the case unlawful, part of a witch hunt.
President-elect Trump's legal team is asking the U.S. Supreme Court to block sentencing in his hush money case in New York. This emergency petition comes a day after a New York State appeals court judge rejected his attempt to get Friday's sentencing postponed while he appeals Judge Juan Merchan's decision to uphold the historic verdict against him. Merchan has indicated he won't impose jail time, fines, or probation.
Fox's Lillian Wu. Today, President-elect Trump will meet with Republican senators. Rand Paul tells Fox.
Well, I think we're all excited to be in the same room. We're all excited to make the tax cuts permanent.
They're from the first Trump term, and the president-elect wants to bundle that with other parts of his agenda in a budget reconciliation bill Democrats can't filibuster. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Want weather? Grab your phone. Need traffic? Grab your phone. Conservative news and talk, also on your phone. Get the Extra 106.3 app.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra. I'm convinced that Rhino has now moved into the next phase of preparing for the snowstorm that is supposed to be coming on
Carlos, good
Friday.
news. You can eat nut thins, right?
Yeah,
Buy
sure.
one, get one free, Publix.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's
Quaker
over
Rice
there.
Crisps for me. I don't know if those are vegan or not.
Well, you got to travel,
I guess so.
man. That's the challenge of all this.
Well, you got to get it early.
Get it on the way home today.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You got some great buy one, get ones this week.
I was just talking with management and suggesting that depending on how this thing looks, I said I would rather go to North Carolina, South Carolina, where we're going to stay, and go an extra night early and just do the show there.
Yeah.
Rather than having to figure out when to leave Atlanta on Friday to travel 4 hours down the road in snow and wintry mix.
Oh my God, yeah, it's gonna be a mess. Just making those decisions is tough, man. Because this is the discussion we had. Because my son Jacob played, travel baseball and went to these out of town tournaments all the time. And the one thing that they will not do, it will take an act of Congress or an act of God to have them cancel it in time for you to make a educated choice about what's best for you.
Just staring at the group me.
That's exactly right.
The whole morning, just okay. What's happening? What's happening?
It'll be a mess. It'll be a mess for sure. Whatever happens, it'll be a mess. Because that's just where we are in life.
I know.
That's just where we are.
Staring at the phone.
I'd love for this thing to pick up a bunch of moisture and just drop 1.5 feet, 2 feet on us.
Oh God, not me.
That'd be so
I hope
amazing.
we don't get anything. I hate snow. I hate ice. I hate winter. I hate it all. I do not like any of it. I don't think it's pretty for 30 seconds. I can see that on a picture that is, that somebody shares on social media.
Oh, but you can't roll around, make snow angels,
I don't want to.
and throw, snowballs at cars and fun stuff like that.
I don't want to do any of that stuff. I don't like any of it.
One
time I did have a relatively fun experience in the snow because my wife's from upstate New York. And they got a big snow a couple times, and we went up there and we went to the golf course that was down the street.
Yeah,
and rode little sleds down the hill.
Fun.
That was fun for about 15 minutes, and I was like, okay, let's go. It's time. I'm done with this.
Really?
No, thank you.
You bundle up like that kid in A Christmas Story.
Exactly. And you're there for 15 minutes.
Can't even move.
Yeah, exactly. And it's fun for 15 minutes, and then I'm done with it.
Hey,
but that's
Haagen-Dazs ice cream cups, 10 for $10 at Publix.
See, there you go. In the preparation, you might as well get Haagen-Dazs ice cream.
Yeah, that's some good
Lord.
stuff right there.
That is exceptionally good stuff.
Cheetos mac and cheese, 10 for $10.
Well, you better not buy cigarettes. Joe Biden, he is putting the kibosh, I guess, on cigarettes. That's his next. That's part of his the twilight of his presidency.
So they did this early where they were going to ban Newports, but it just polled so well with the black voters that they're like, whoa, we'll pull this out. So as the Democrats are leaving office, they're going to do things like they promised about lowering prices and making sure that they give small businesses, especially black small businesses, all these good loans. Oh, no, wait. They're not doing any of that. What they're going to do is ban cigarettes. So Biden and the administration decided what they're going to do is make sure before they leave, they're going to try to ban all cigarettes that are currently made and force all these companies to lower nicotine levels, make the cigarettes healthier, and redo everything they've ever done.
You thought that by going after Zyn, you would say, this will just be a small thing. And then it turns out every frat boy, the entire PGA,
MLB.
entire NASCAR, MLB were like, no, you're not. And, okay, we better not try and pull that one. Well, let's go after the menthol cigarette. And the black community said, no, you're not.
No.
All right, this is what you're now getting on the way out. All the little things that they wanted to do and that they couldn't get done. It'll be executive orders. It'll be all these weird ways that they will take legislation that's gone through Congress. They'll apply it in the way that they want to, and then they'll say, see, now you can't reverse it.
But the crazy part about all that is it's more about keeping you under their thumb.
It's government control.
I'm not saying you should smoke.
No, it's horrible for you.
But it ain't my place.
Yes.
You know it's bad for you.
Yep.
You make the decision.
Yep.
You decide what you do. The government should have no input. I say the same thing about seatbelt laws. Hate them.
Yeah.
Because, yes, seatbelts save lives, but the government doesn't need to have that power and that authority over you to make you do that kind of stuff. That's what I believe.
Yeah, you're asking every small business, by the way, by doing this, to get rid of every inventory they have that they spent their maybe life savings on to open a convenience store, whatever it is, and ship all of those out, get rid of all of them, or sell them at a discount, or you're going to outlaw them altogether and then force them and tobacco companies and people who work at those tobacco companies to probably lay people off to afford to be able to rebuild their business to redo this. Look, I'm the same way with you. I think cigarette smoking is one of the worst things you can possibly do for your body. I would tell everybody, please do not start. I'm guilty of smoking cigarettes. I enjoy cigarettes. I got to be honest. I think they're amazing to relax me. It's fun when I'm at a bar. I don't know. It's my thing. I wish I never did. I wish I never touched them. I really do. But I don't want the government telling me what I can and can't do. Right. This is why I left New York, telling me I can't get a 64-ounce soda anymore. What a joke. And just, but what they're not doing is any of the promises. They're not giving home loans to the communities that they said they would on the way out. No, they're stopping you from actually being able to do whatever you want. And look, if you want to hurt your body with a cigarette, isn't it my body, my choice?
Well, that and what's the difference in eating pizza, every night? Like, should the government come in and tell you, nope, you can't eat pizza every night? Or processed foods, you know what I mean?
All we're asking for is just transparency. If you choose to take part in said activity, all we want to know is what are the consequences, because
that's right.
That you are bringing up something like, let's say, processed meat. And the fact that I don't know what's in there, and all I know is that you've had it being referred to as a carcinogen by the World Health Organization, maybe I should know a little bit more about what you're putting in my food, because I know what you're putting in the cigarettes.
Yeah. And now the cigarette companies own all the processed food companies.
But I should be able to make an educated decision. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to make smart decisions all the time.
Nope. Humans don't by nature.
But I like to have the choice of making good and bad decisions.
Because I know the government's going to make a poor choice for me.
Yeah, well, who are they to tell me what we can and can't eat? If I want to go get my 10 for 10 Haagen-Dazs ice creams at Publix today, it doesn't matter what's in it, but isn't that the next step for them?
Don't let them stop
cigarettes are bad for you, so now, hey, these are bad for you. You can't have ice cream. You can't have this. We need to get healthier.
Now, where does it end?
I'm good with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. pointing things out to me and saying, hey, look at this. I'm good with going into the schools and saying, hey, this is a good pyramid of products. We're going to redo this pyramid. This is the healthy things. These are the things you need to look out for. But make your own decision. The government should never be making the decisions for us on what we should put in our body, what we should do with our body, and that's it.
So there is a movie that I jumped into on Netflix because of Joe.
Really? Okay.
Because I made a joke about wormholes, and he was like, oh, somebody's seen Interstellar. I was like, I've never seen Interstellar. But I decided to watch Interstellar.
I've never seen
Cool movie. Christopher Nolan movie. Cool movie.
Interstellar.
Now, what they do, though, is they point out, they call it the post-truth era.
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that they talked about in the textbooks of the future is that they removed all the references to the Apollo missions because the Apollo missions were used to bankrupt the Soviets and to win it. And you were like, wait a minute, that's not the truth of how this worked. But it was used to then create what the new mentality is. We have had this big push in the tech world, pre-Elon Musk. We've had this big push of post-truth. We'll just tell you what you need to know. Don't seek the truth yourself.
Correct.
That's all we're asking for is just truth, transparency, and the freedom to be able to act on it.
Imagine that. You want to be told the truth. I mean, the truth matters. That's the thing that I think gets so lost and covered up is that, especially in politics, they act like truth doesn't matter.
Right.
And that's for every politician. They act like it doesn't matter, and it does.
Post-truth era. Hillary Clinton told you, she flat out told you during the election, the reason why they were looking to dictate what was going on social media was because they had a problem with the truth being out there. You had the same issues
And
with one of the
want it out
CEOs that was pointing out how, the truth can get in the way of the objective.
That's exactly right. And the Democrats are fine with it. A lot of Republicans, too, are just fine
so
with
it
that.
just, yes, it starts with just cigarettes.
Yeah.
And
then,
but
it
snowballs. But it's easy to vilify something like that because you go, well, that sounds bad. We should allow people to have menthol cigarettes. We shouldn't allow people to. And then it goes from there very quickly.
Right.
Robert F. Kennedy is not telling you he's going to take this away from you. What he's saying is we should know what's in our food and what we're giving to Americans that's making us sick.
That's every lesson that RFK Jr. is trying to tell you. I'm not saying that don't take vaccines or give vaccines to your children if that's the way you want to handle your child's life or be a part of your child's life. What I'm telling you is know what's in the vaccines. You should be told by the FDA, you should be told by the governing facilities of these vaccines what is in your vaccine that's going into your body. But what does the left do? Oh my God, he wants to get rid of every vaccine. But when the Democrats actually try to get rid of something that you may find convenient, even though we think it's dumb, all of a sudden you're like, yeah, that's cool. Let's go along with that. That's how ridiculous Democrats and hypocritical Democrats are right now.
It's informed consent.
Yes.
I know what happens if I drink this 12-pack.
Or smoke a pack of cigarettes.
Or smoke this. Or do whatever it is. I have informed consent in front of me. I know what the results are going to be. What we're now pushing for is why don't you give it to us across the board with everything you're making available in society? And that does include vaccines. I know that's supposed to be some sort of anti-vax view of things. No, I'm just saying I want to know what the risk-benefit analysis is because that's typically not made available to people.
Yep. I'm telling you, man, that especially with vaccines.
Because I can stare at a cigarette and go, that might be fun, or it might make me feel sick to my stomach and I want to throw up. It could go either way.
Either way.
I just want that with everything.
That's right.
I'm going to make an informed decision based on what I know the possibilities are here.
And it's okay when people make bad decisions.
Yeah. Sure.
And I'm just fine with Rhino. I don't think less of you because you like to smoke. I don't think less of you at all. It's not.
You
it's
should.
not.
I'm weak.
No, it's not. I just you choose to live your life how you choose to live your life. I'll do it. Los do it. Joey does it. We all make our own decision. That's all anybody wants in any place they are in their life.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to get down on people. Look, I know that the Cheetos mac and cheese is really bad for me. I know not to eat it. I know I'm going to get fat.
Doesn't change the fact that's good.
The more you tell me that I can't have it, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go get it. Yeah, I'm going to go get it. And that's what's going to happen.
Mad about that.
Yeah, and if Biden does this, that's what's going to happen. Not only is that going to happen, but guess what cartels are going to start doing?
Selling them,
making them available on the black market.
Along with fentanyl. And then fentanyl will end up in cigarettes.
In cigarettes,
Man,
oh, that's true.
That'll be a bummer.
Yeah.
When it's fentanyl in your smoke.
Yeah. You're destroying the entire industry and the farming industry with tobacco too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, North Carolina, this is a big industry for them. So what you're doing is you're attacking American jobs, you're attacking American businesses and corporations for what? Just for this little stupid idea, and you're not helping Americans. Again, yeah, maybe you could say, well, eventually they're going to quit. You know what? The numbers are already down without doing this.
But this is what the argument, and when I say a lack of informed consent. For instance, cigarette smoking is not great for you. It's not good for you at all.
Mm-hmm.
Tobacco used in low amounts is actually pretty good for the human body.
Yeah, I chew it.
Like that's part of what goes on. So much of if you remember early days of COVID, the people that were not contracting this in part was because of nicotine that was in the system, and what you had is a run on patches in Europe. People were like, I'm going to get these patches, and this is what I'm going to do. Now, long term, people were like, hold on a second, don't go smoke in order to make sure you don't get this disease, right? But there is medical evidence on what tobacco can do for you in low forms and not being smoked.
I'm gonna start smoking, that way I don't get COVID.
There you go.
This is how I'm avoiding the whole pandemic.
Dude, that's why I started smoking, because the government told me that I can't get COVID.
Big tobacco will tell you, and the word is always big tobacco is evil. So horrible. Okay, tobacco as a product, what you're doing, not exactly the best thing.
Right.
Tobacco for the sake of tobacco has had use in this country and in this world for thousands of years.
Absolutely.
Yeah, look, this is,
Beer
again,
too.
They're not outlawing, look California does. Here's some needles for your heroin.
Right.
They don't outlaw heroin. They're not fighting that.
Right.
They're not fighting the drugs. What they're saying is, hey, we're getting rid of your cigarettes, whether you're like a legal product. They don't care about your health when it comes to overdosing in the street. They don't care about fighting fentanyl. Look how many deaths happened because of fentanyl. Way more than nicotine deaths this year. The reality of it is this. They don't care about anything except for control. And they know that most of those companies are controlled by who? More of a... what they would call MAGA extremists own those companies, those big evil corporations, but yet they'll still let you put things in your body.
And it depends on the evil corporation.
Sure.
Depends on where they donate.
That's what I'm saying. They're Republicans.
Exactly right. Because there's plenty of...
They're farmers.
Corporations that are not doing good by people or not doing well by people, let's say in Silicon Valley, that they warm up to and love up to and snug up to all the time because they give to the right party.
Well, they're hardworking Americans. And they don't like hardworking Americans. They don't like farmers. They don't like everything about the cigarette industry. They don't like because it's way more conservative than anything else. I mean, they'll ban anything and they'll protect ridiculous ideas like, hey, it's cool to do meth and don't worry, we're not going to prosecute you. We're not going to go after those drug dealers. We're not going to worry about the 250,000 kids and women and men that were killed by fentanyl. We're not going to shut the border down, but we'll go ahead and stop you from smoking.
Dude named Harrison Crank, at Harrison Crank, and I don't know who he is, but he has got a great tweet just playing on the trolling from Donald Trump about Greenland and about the Gulf of America and the Panama Canal. It's he says, because, and I looked it up just a minute ago to see if there's actually a university in Greenland, and there is.
Oh, I saw that one. That's a great one, too.
He said, would Greenland State play in the SEC or the Big Ten? That's the kind of question I want answered.
SEC.
Kind of feels like a really Big Ten environment. But
it does.
Although it is a Big Ten.
You're right. It has to be Big Ten.
Yeah, it's got to be Big Ten. Big Ten's got great hockey, so I'm assuming Greenland would join on that one. Yeah, the Frozen Four.
It only makes sense that they would end up in the Big Ten. Just something to ponder.
They'd be losers too.
When we get when Trump buys Greenland to
man, I can't wait. I bet we could get it cheap too.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see about it. When we come back on Extra 106.3, 9 o'clock hour, by the way, is brought to you by Southern Exteriors, 8779 Southern, southernexteriors.co. The mainstream media continues to mislead Americans about the Mar-a-Lago raid. Next, after headlines on Extra.
What should we rename it?
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's Tug, and here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
I don't think we can calculate how many deaths have occurred in America because Joe Biden decided on his day one that the borders were going to be open. Yes, deaths. Joe Biden killed people with that decision.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
Who doesn't want a great smile? The world seems brighter because it is. Hey, it's a Kimmer. How's it going? You know, that's only one reason to see my dentist, Dr. Dina Giesler at Atlanta Smiles. The other reason, of course, is to take care of your teeth if they're going to make your life miserable. We all know that. But when's the last time you were smiling before you walked in the door like me? Because I know Dr. Dina and her staff are the happiest Kimmer babes you ever saw. We're going to fix me up, and I always take the gas. They tell me my best stories come out that way. And you can actually get a doggy right there napping in my lap, a little doggy. I said, go ahead, work away. Dr. Dina Dana's a Navy vet, ranked a master dentist, which only 1% can say. She's been doing veneers since before anybody even knew what that was. My first visit was 30 years ago. Cosmetic dentistry, cleaning, bridges, crowns, especially keeping your teeth and gums healthy to last as long as you do. Veterans automatic 10% discount. Just tell them when you call. Atlanta Smiles, 404-262-7733. It's atlantasmiles.com. Your new smile's waiting for you. atlantasmiles.com. Tell them the Kemmer sent you. Ask for the doggy. atlantasmiles.com.
You may know that ATL Turf Co. has become a leader in artificial grass design and installation services. But you may not know that ATL Turf Co. is a large artificial grass distributor. We only sell U.S.-made, premium name brand turf at factory direct pricing below wholesale. And now we're open to the public with large inventories of lawn and landscape, putting green, athletic, and pet turf on sale. Plus, all remnants are on sale for only $1 per square foot, direct from Dalton to our warehouse in Kennesaw. Visit atlturfco.com to learn more. atlturfco.com.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Have you thought about securing your hard-earned assets? Do you have concerns about the future? Protecting assets is crucial, and that's where Nelson Elder Care Law excels. As a family-owned and family-focused firm, we provide absolute assurance and peace of mind through our trademarked Absolute Protection Trust, tailored services in estate planning, probate administration, Medicaid crisis solutions, guardianship, and conservatorship. Our goal is to exceed your expectations and empower informed decisions. Visit NelsonElderCareLaw.com for asset protection and peace of mind.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 3 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffers from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. We provide testosterone replacement therapy, the P-shot, and treatment for ED, PE, and Peyronie's disease. There's not just one therapy that can solve these complex issues. When you visit our clinic, you're going to see me. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. 404-777-1911. Total Body Therapy of Georgia. 404-777-1911. Online at tbtofga.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Good morning. Here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Wednesday, January 8th, 2025. Roswell police report that one of their officers encountered a suspicious man at Regal Nissan on Holcomb Bridge Road earlier this morning. When the officer approached, the man reportedly rushed at him, leading to a physical altercation. The officer attempted to use a taser, but it was ineffective. Subsequently, the officer fired his gun, injuring the man, who is now in stable condition. This is a developing story, and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation has been called in to investigate. A suspect is in custody following a double shooting in the parking lot of the Consulate General of Honduras in Atlanta. Doraville police responded to a report of a shooting and discovered one person dead and another injured at the scene. The name of the suspect and victims have not been released. Any details of the incident remain under investigation. And Governor Kemp has announced preparations for a winter storm expected to hit the metro Atlanta region within the next 48 hours. Kemp stated that state agencies are coordinating with local officials to ensure the safety of Georgians ahead of the storm, which is forecasted to begin Friday morning. Meteorologists predict snow will reach the metro Atlanta area around 7 a.m. on Friday, potentially transitioning to freezing rain before 10 a.m. With your headlines, Scott Rhino, Xtra 106.3.
9 o'clock hour brought to you by Southern Exteriors, your home exterior solution since 1999. Windows, doors, gutters, roofs, building a deck, screening in a deck. They can do it all. Southern Exteriors, 877-9-SOUTHERN, southernexteriors.co. We've heard over and over again about the raid on Mar-a-Lago, and we all know that it was bogus. We all know that it was completely politically motivated, no different than the political motivation in every other of the Trump cases, than most of them, if not all. The wheels are completely falling off the bus. And, I mean, you saw what happened here in Georgia yesterday with the Freedom of Information Act They filed lawsuit. Judicial Watch filed lawsuit. Fonnie Willis hid the information. Judicial Watch now gets their legal fees paid by Fonnie Willis. It's nearly $22,000. So you're just seeing that just completely fall apart. As Lowe's
I wish I would have seen her face, man, when they told her.
Oh my gosh! But like Lowe said, though, Rhino, she's got pallets of cash in her house,
just sitting around because everyone has to keep pallets of cash ready.
That's what most people
She's
use.
been doing it since she's little. Her dad taught her.
It's cash. I mean, everybody uses cash every day for everything. I mean, it's important to have cash on you all the time. Yeah. All the time. But seriously, when it comes to Mar-a-Lago, they lied. They planted, basically taped, top secret papers that just said top secret, and they taped it to the top of the boxes to create this scene at Mar-a-Lago
for a photo shoot
to make sure that the American people didn't realize.
Well, to mislead.
To mislead, to make sure the American people didn't realize what was actually happening. And they continue to do it to this day.
Yeah, and the fact that the left can't look at that and go, why is the federal government making this stuff up? Well, the reason they're making it up is because there's no truth behind it. This is actually political persecution against Donald Trump. And if you don't believe that, then how do you allow the thought of a report that has nothing to do? This case is thrown out, by the way. This case is never coming back. It's gone. So why release a report unless it's partisan politics? It's BS. And luckily, Judge Eileen Cannon down in Florida, she knows better than this. She knows what they're doing. And she sees, hey, this does not need to be released. It's done. It's over. It's gone. This report is absolutely ridiculous. Remember, this is Jack Smith's report. So there are no facts in it. It's what they thought. It's what they needed. It's pictures of fake pictures. Yeah. That's what's in this report.
We actually lived through a time period where the federal government, in the interest of winning an election, because they knew without the pandemic, without the drop boxes, with all the things that they were not going to be able to use this time around, that they had a broken man and one of the worst vice presidents polling-wise in history, that they were not going to be able to win an election unless they imprisoned their primary rival.
Let that set in.
Yeah.
Just think about what Lowe's just saying. That happened in your country.
That was in your country, in your backyard.
But we always hear it. That's what happens in wherever.
No, that's what happened here.
It's what happened.
It's what happened in America.
Yeah, not overseas.
Now it's up to the Attorney General Merrick Garland whether or not this actually gets released. It's not up to Jack Smith or anyone else. It's up to Merrick Garland. And in reality, he should pull this back. He's got nothing to lose at this point. He's done. He's gone. He's going to be out as soon as possible. So as soon as you get a Trump-appointed Attorney General, maybe you feel better, and Pam Bondi is that person that you want to look at this and go, why would we release any of this? It has nothing to do. There's no case. This is made up. It's all BS. But the reality of it is, like they're doing, like they did in Georgia, like they've done in Washington, D.C., like they're doing in Florida, this is now not as much about Trump as getting anybody that is his friend. They're going after him by going through family and going after other people. That's the kind of lawfare that they're going, because this all has to do with Walt Nada, who is the valet, and the property manager. I believe his name is Carlos de Oliveira. Those are the two people they're going to go after. That's why you can't release this, by the way, because they deserve a fair trial, and especially in this witch hunt.
Your country that you live in actually had a scenario where a judge told a person who was leading to be president that he could not discuss his case in public.
On the court steps.
Yep.
After the trial.
He suspended his First Amendment rights.
Well, that's not even real. That's not even a real thing, and yet they did it.
Well, it's a real thing in where?
In New York.
Anywhere.
In New York now.
Shouldn't be.
You can just start.
Third world countries.
You can just start checking these off of the list. Mm-hmm. And every time that you check another box, if I was to tell you, and I don't even use the name Donald Trump, if I was just going to tell you this was done to a political rival of the federal government, every time you'd say, that's not my country. It was your country. It has been your country.
Yeah.
And will continue to be if it doesn't get fixed.
This is what they did in Nelson Mandela, by the way. You're not okay with that. Why are you okay with it in another political opponent? Just because you don't agree with that person? Because you've been gaslit by the American media, by the lies of these people that you're okay with this? You're okay with the FBI coming into your house and going through your wife's drawers? You're okay with the political persecution of these fake ideas or cases that you don't get a fair trial? You're okay with them allowing a DA and a attorney general of a state to go out and make a case and make someone guilty and then tell them they're not allowed to speak about it?
If I was to tell you, Tug, that you have private security at your home, and I was to randomly, without informing that private security, roll up on you with automatic weapons in the interest of raiding your home, there's a chance of a firefight.
Yes, there is.
Okay, they did not inform the Secret Service that they were coming.
Right.
Like, you had an opportunity.
Both federal government agencies.
Both federal government agencies, and was like, wait a minute, you had the possibility of a shootout, which you would have had this federal government not having a problem with that.
Nope.
They decided to raid a man's house that was their chief political rival.
And would blame the Secret Service had it happened. They would have blamed the Secret Service. They would have found a way to pin it on them, no different than they pinned on Russian collusion to Donald Trump.
This is a country that, in order to deal with the chief political rival of the federal government, they somehow messed up so bad that the guy got shot in a field in Pennsylvania.
Yep. And almost got shot again at his own golf course. At his own golf course. Did they mess up that bad, though? Or, I don't know. Maybe they didn't care, or they might have planned it themselves.
But you notice, as I don't say Donald Trump, every single time I notate one of these, it gets crazier and crazier that this is what they did to deal with their chief political rival.
Funny you talk about leaving out Donald Trump's name. Everybody would reject it, like you're saying, with insert any other name.
Yeah.
A big portion of the country, I'd even say 45%, once you insert Donald Trump in there, are just fine with it. That's the scary part, that they'd be okay with it.
If I was to put the shoe on the other foot and say that this upcoming administration within 2 years decided we're going to kind of stand down a little bit whenever Gavin Newsom's in public and he gets assassinated.
Yeah.
Would I not be doing exactly what was done to Donald Trump?
Right.
Yes. And does it not sound dirty as hell?
Of course it does.
Could you imagine that if a CIA or a coup happened where 51 people knew there was a lie on a piece of paper, false information about something, and they all signed to say, hey, this is my political opponent. So, yeah, we're willing to lie because it's better than allowing that person to have any kind of power or make this place great again?
Many of them that do have security clearances, and they lied to the American public in the interest of trying to get rid of their chief political rival.
But he's going to name it the Gulf of America.
That's what they'd be upset
Start
about
going
today.
through the list.
Dude, it's dirty. Filthy. Well, I mean, and go back to the FBI starting its own investigation against the law, starting its own investigation against Donald Trump, trying to see if he was a Russian asset in 2017, knowing that they couldn't do it, knowing that they didn't have the legal precedent, and yes, they did it anyway.
This is supposed to be a story that within the headline it says Kazakhstan, Colombia. It's not Chile. It's not supposed to say in the United States.
In the United States.
And then list out all the bullet points of what occurred. It was, we have lived through the biggest banana republic possibly in the history of this country. Remember, we're not even all that old.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're 200-something years old.
248,
We just
is that right?
spent 4 years as a banana republic.
Good Lord.
Imagine if they were like, hey, we can't prosecute this guy. Let's say his name's Jim. He happens to be black. He happens to have gotten caught up in this deal. And they're like, hey, there's no crime here. We can't really prosecute. Why would we go after him? And then a white DA came in and was like, you know what? We can if we upgrade these to felony charges. Well, it's past the statute of limitations. Yeah, well, if we upgrade him now, we could put the guy away. That happened in this country.
That happened in this country.
I know it did. I know. Well, it failed, thankfully, but it was not for lack of effort.
Okay, then you know what? Yes, unfortunately we failed, but Jim's so bad, or we thought he was, so we're going to release all the fake information we have about him so the American people can know how bad Jim is because we believe that.
Right.
That
is
happens.
politics.
That's happening right now in our country.
Filthy, filthy, filthy politics. And it will continue. That's the thing. This is going to be an uphill battle. People think just because Donald Trump will be in office on January 20 that it goes back to normal.
Oh, no.
It is a hellacious fight ahead.
I mean, we're just trying to get him to the inauguration
without being
killed.
Without the government finishing the deal here.
Yeah. goodness. Yeah, but that's where we
Democrats
are
to cheer
right
on.
now.
And by the way,
realize it's an uphill battle. It's a big fight coming.
Considering that the shooter that we had in Pennsylvania, that I know less about him than a serviceman who blew up a truck in Las Vegas. And yet this person had all of their stuff professionally scrubbed, their apartment professionally scrubbed.
Wonder who did that.
Didn't see any sort
Probably
of
his mom and
information.
dad, right? Did that?
No, not really. Not really.
Professionally scrubbed? Probably.
Like if that's not,
I'm sure it's mom.
Tradecraft asset usage, of course. But, but we're not allowed to bring that one up, are we?
Here's the deal. Like, I feel like I'm pretty dialed in on most things. I don't know that I would know how to professionally scrub my son's social media. Like if he was, you know what I mean?
Imagine a young person who doesn't have any social media.
Yeah.
Why would you not have any social media?
Yeah.
I'm just saying there's a lot of these.
Yeah, it's just a lot of.
It's not even conspiracy theory. It's just why.
Irregularities.
We can look at what's gone on in the last 4 years and recognize that we have been on one of the craziest roller coaster rides. And it was, when it comes right down to it, all about the federal government, the people that are in power, the establishment class that didn't want this dude to have any part in what their party is. It's their club. And when a regular American who didn't have any sort of background in government decided, I want to be the president, and he got there, they're like, we have to kick this guy out as quickly as possible. And if he doesn't want to go away, let's make him go away.
He's going to tear down our foundation of money making.
He's going to he's going to be in the way.
He's going to protect the American people. What do we do?
He's going to be a problem. Let's fix it. The Laken Riley Act is so obvious that it needs to be passed, and it did in the House. Thank goodness. We'll get to the Senate and see how it goes there. But there are Democrats that think this is a bad idea, Lowe's.
This is an infomercial for how foolish these people can be. Now, it won't matter in some of the places they come from. Like, Minneapolis is going to continue to send you weird people. You know, Minnesota's going to go, we got a history of electing weird people. We're going to keep sending them your way. We're going to keep sending them. Right? It's going to be part of it. When you look for better things and you're frustrated with the people that enter into Congress from, let's say, places like Houston or Atlanta, you're frustrated by the quality, well, just know it's just how it's going to be.
Yeah.
But I give you Exhibit A of Rashida Tlaib.
Oh, here we go.
When you want to take an example of a woman talking about this Laken Riley Act, and the idea is that if you were to commit theft, you were to commit crime, you can be processed and kicked out of this country. That's part of what this whole push is. I want you to take a listen. That's why I say it's an infomercial for how you get beat in 2024 and how you get beat moving forward. Take a listen to her example as to why this is bad legislation.
Many of us in Congress are parents. Imagine your child is with a group of kids grabbing an after-school snack at a 7-Eleven, and one of them chooses to just snitch a little candy bar off the shelf. The shop owner calls the police, and all the kids are arrested for shoplifting. If your child is a DACA recipient, someone who has lived here nearly their entire life, they are now subject to mandatory detention under this bill.
So you've now taken the murder of a young woman in Athens, and you've now compared that
to a Snicker bar.
Taking a Snicker bar and possibly being extradited from the country from it. We're kicking you out of here.
Yeah.
That was the farthest example. Like, she had to create, like my mother-in-law does this.
Yeah.
Like, my mother-in-law will create crazy scenarios by which she can be correct. That's part of what women do, and she does it very well. Like, for instance, if you didn't take care of the dryer lint, she's like, well, your house is going to burn down.
Right. That's it. My mom does that,
yeah.
too. Yep.
And you're like, wait a minute, your granddaughters live here. Why would you want my house to burn down so you can prove your points right?
Yeah.
Okay, this is what Tlaib, she's had to create a crazy scenario by which she can prove her point.
By the way, I'm all for it. Get rid of the kid. A little thief. Be a better parent. Don't allow your kid to steal stuff. No, look, that's never going to happen.
It's the irrationality of it.
Yeah, it's so irrational. Let this woman, they have nothing. This is violent criminals and drug addicts and dealers.
Nobody gets kicked out of the country for stealing a bar of candy.
We're talking about prior arrest records, violent arrests.
The craziness will continue. Like I said, January 20th is not going to fix this.
The man that is accused, and we're now going down a conviction road of everything when it comes to killing Laken Riley, because of the crimes he had committed in this country, it should have had him out of here. We should have
Multiple
looked
times.
into his violent past and been like, why is this guy here? That's what we're talking about when you have this act. If you start committing crimes, it should have us go, wait a minute. Let's look a little bit more into this person. We got to get him out of here.
Wouldn't you?
Well, basically,
why wouldn't you?
Right. Well, Rashida Tlaib's happy. White girl from the South was killed. That's the way I look at it.
Stole a candy bar.
So stupid.
TikTok may have gotten a life ring. You'll probably recognize the name that may be throwing them that life ring. Next on the Morning Extra as we conclude the show and the bonus hour.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
The Atlanta Hawks stole a win last night in Utah against the Jazz, 123-121. Down 3 with 4 seconds left, Utah's Colin Sexton drilled a game-tying three-pointer. The tie didn't last long, though, when Trae Young sank a half-court buzzer beater to win the game. Trae Young finished with 24 points and 20 assists, while 6 other Hawks finished in double-digit scoring. Atlanta's record now stands at 19-18, good enough for 7th in the East, as they head to Phoenix to take on the Suns tomorrow night at 9. For Extra 106.3 Sports, I'm Joe Virgin.
It's here. It's called winter. Is your furnace ready to make sure you're warm inside and you keep the cold weather outside? Well, if you're not sure, you need to talk to the folks at Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Central Heating and Air is one of the few second-generation locally owned HVAC companies in Atlanta. With Central, you're not just a number, you're a member of the family. It's been that way since 1947, and it's still that way today. Give Central a call at 770-GET-HEAT or go to centralheat.com. Central Heating and Air Conditioning can fix what ails your house and possibly your family with home ventilation and air quality products. Central has packages designed around health using variable speed, fresh air ventilation, air purifiers, dehumidifiers, and more. Carrier products, carrier warranty, carrier peace of mind. Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier expert since 1947. Call 770-GET-HEAT or go to centralheat.com. That's 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com.
We're smart, we care. We're Central Heating and Air.
Join A Second Chance Bail Bond CEO Daniel Madelon and host Tug Coward for the weekly radio show Back Your Blue. They will highlight special initiatives, criminal justice programs, and community events aimed at keeping our communities safer. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to learn some good news about and from the law enforcement and justice communities. Tune in on Saturdays or catch up on all past episodes wherever you get your podcasts or at thepodcastpark.com.
No one plans on going to jail, but when it happens, it's important that you know who to call. Call A Second Chance Bail Bonds, where we believe everyone deserves a second chance. Whether your loved one's been arrested in Cherokee, Clayton, or any of the other metro Atlanta counties in between, A Second Chance Bail Bonds works fast to help expedite release within hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT or online at atlbail.com.
If better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today.
You can find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
For half a century, glyphosate has affordably and effectively protected Georgia farmers' crops from invasive weeds. Without it, the impact would be felt beyond the fields, hitting Americans where it hurts, our wallets. That's why the Modern Ag Alliance advocates for farmers' continued access to essential crop protection tools so food prices don't rise even more. Get the facts at controlweedsnotfarming.com. Paid for by the Modern Ag Alliance in support of Georgia farmers.
Convenience is defined as the state of being able to proceed with something with little effort or difficulty. Well, at RBM of Atlanta, we embody this philosophy. Meet our Mercedes-Benz pickup and delivery service. It gives you back time and money. Does your Mercedes-Benz need service? If so, we'll pick up your vehicle that's requiring service from your home or office and bring it back to our dealership for the required service. With over 100 appointments available every weekday, over 50 appointments on Saturdays, and more than 200 200 courtesy vehicles in our fleet, we're here to serve. We'll work around your schedule. We're here to save you time, energy, and money. RBM of Atlanta is a J.D. Power 2023 Diamond Dealer of Excellence for the customer sales experience and Georgia's only 9-time Mercedes-Benz Best of the Best winner. We're proud to be Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964. Pickup and delivery service restrictions do apply. Ask your service coordinator or service advisor for details.
Extra 106.3 is the only station in Atlanta to bring you the legend Neil Bortz, a live and local news talk show on your ride in, and the Kimmer Show every afternoon. Be here at 3 for the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder, only on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
I don't trust Jeff Bezos as far as I can see him. But what he has done with Melania Trump is unreal. Signing the $40 million documentary deal with Amazon. It'll have cameos with Barron and Donald Trump in it. That's according to the New York Post. This dude saw the writing on the wall just the way that most of them are. I don't believe their politics are changing. I believe they're businessmen and they're smart enough to go, okay, we see a changing tide. Let's adapt to it and make $1 bazillion off of it. That's what I think is happening. Same way with Meta. I don't trust Zuckerberg as far as I can see him with him getting rid of the fact checkers, and then the fact checkers are mad about it.
Yeah.
And fact check the fact check in the New York Times. You see that yesterday. So funny. And then Bezos, same way. I don't trust either one of them.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that it's happening.
Right.
I freaking love it. To watch Jeff Bezos all of a sudden be coddling, Donald Trump and his family. Makes me laugh.
But look at the downfall of the liberals from this, and it goes back to everything else we said about the trolling and them losing their mind over the Gulf of America and everything else. This is the same thing. This is common sense. People want to see this. It's good stuff. Look, she's a beautiful woman. They want to find things about her. They're going to watch, and they're going to be forced to watch because they're going to want to pick it apart. But they hate Jeff Bezos now. Look at the way they went off of Mark Zuckerberg because he's like, you know what? I'm going to allow community notes.
They were
it's so great to watch them melt down.
They made the adjustment, and they are businessmen. That's why they're doing it.
Right.
That everything in this country has moved in two areas: center right, center left, even on some cases. And you better have a digital footprint. And the problem is that even if you do give the digital footprint, it can't be far left. Like, that's the one area you can't be.
It'll be rejected.
And that's where they've both been moving to an area where if you want to look at the model of what's working, it's going to be more in that center area with I would say an appreciation for common sense.
Yep. Yeah. And the reality is none of these guys changed. They were the same back then. The only difference was it all came down to money and whether they were able to do business or not. The only reason the DEI woke thing worked was because there was so much pressure from these leaders to say, well, if you don't do these or implement us, you're going to lose money. We're going to ban you. None of them ever believed what they wanted to believe. That's why they came back so quick. Now, there are some woke corporations out there that are sticking down there, and Costco's one of them. But look how everybody else came back and said, Walmart, get rid of the DEI program now. We don't need it anymore. They're not in power. Let's go back to common sense business.
But there's no pressure here. Nobody's pressuring Facebook.
No.
Nobody's pressuring Jeff Bezos.
No, they just know it's
They
right.
just see, they're just businessmen. They just see the changing times.
It's just because there's choices out there. And if in Bezos' case, I don't think that there is a formidable substitute for Amazon. There just isn't. And so that company could be as woke and crazy as they want it to be, but because of the variety of who they are, it's really hard to implement some crazy woke policies outside of we're going to do fuel-efficient trucks, okay, or whatever.
And we tried the Walmart thing, and it doesn't compare.
It just doesn't compare. But when it comes to the Washington Post, I got 100 other options out there.
Yeah.
So you have to change.
Yeah.
Facebook.
Absolutely.
Same thing. You have to change because I have other options.
That's the problem when you cater to a tyrannical minority. Yep, Target, you messed up. Putting trans clothing in a kids section was the dumbest idea ever. And you know what? They knew it. They knew it, but there was so much pressure. Oh, you got to look at this community. They're completely normal. No, they're insane, mentally insane. And the problem for you is that's 1.2% of the population. You know who's coming to Target? Tug, his wife, his son,
Not
me,
anymore.
my son, right? But that's
Not
who
anymore.
was. That's who was.
Yeah, we don't.
And what'd you do to them?
We just don't go anymore.
You make a change.
Yeah.
Right, we made
Viable
a change.
options.
Yeah.
Walmart was fine with me.
Absolutely, or just on Amazon. I mean, it's not like we were going a lot to begin with, but now there's no reason to go.
Yeah.
I mean, zero reason.
Look, and Amazon was one of those. Look, they could sell whatever they want. I have no problem with you selling, but you're not going to put it in my face. It's not like I opened up Amazon to go buy Christmas gifts for my family, and they're like, "Hey, how about this? Your daughter's a trans girl."
Right. No, it doesn't work for them.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
They
not the
don't
way.
need to.
It's not the way that it's going to be able to work. But again, their push is going to be, hey, we're going to be having ecologically responsible trucks. Okay, that's your push.
Yeah,
Fine.
go ahead,
Still
man.
doesn't
Whatever.
really change anything in my book. I'm still
as long
getting
as
my
it gets
stuff.
here in a day.
That's right. But if
Yeah.
I have viable options, then I will pay attention to your politics.
Right. And I think you're going to see a lot of these change. You're not going to see a Bud Light anymore go, you know what? We need to give an opportunity to a woman who's a marketing person, who's also gay and this and that and the other, and let's see what her idea is. Put a trans man on your Bud Light to the frat boys.
But even if
Boom,
that woman
done.
that you just described was hired, they would be smarter than to make that mistake again. They would say, let's go with what works.
Considering that the woman who was responsible for that talked about trying to get away from the frat image. Like that was her. Like,
That was her push.
This is what I'm going to do. And how has Bud Light responded to getting it back?
Jumped in feet first back into it.
You went back with Shane Gillis and said, how hard of a frat image can we have and how much comedy can we deliver to you? We're going old school. The only thing they haven't given me is the breasts. But outside of
That's
that,
coming, though.
that's coming.
It's coming.
More women in bikinis and more dudes making funny jokes because Shane Gillis in those commercials is hilarious.
Yes, he is. He's good. Kevin
Thanks
O'Leary.
for coming back.
Yes, welcome. Kevin O'Leary said he is close to a deal to buy TikTok so it doesn't get banned in the USA.
At midday, 12:05, Trump will be who we have to work with to close the deal in the months ahead. So I wanted to let him know, as well as others in his cabinet, that we're doing this and we're going to need their help.
Dude, so smart.
Yep.
Such a great play. Look, I'm not going to join TikTok anytime soon. And I know a lot of people use it. A lot of people love it. I couldn't care less if it goes away. But Kevin O'Leary sees the ability to make a mint. And he said, how do I fix this problem? How do I rescue this asset that is worth a lot and can make a lot? And there'll be a lot of people happy. And I'm going to make a fortune. Man, that's America right there. If I've ever seen America play out in front of my eyes, that's it right there. How do I save it and make it better?
Yeah, look, there's a whole group of guys that are pulling all their money together to try to get this done, and they're going to buy the American assets. Obviously, ByteDance will still own the Chinese property, but we'll have our own version of it here, and it'll be protected by people who actually understand this. So I love this idea, and I love the idea of saying, hey, this is why we need to have private ownership of certain things. There should be no government ownership, but the U.S. assets are very important to Americans and American company, and it is a good money maker. And there's so many Americans who make money on TikTok. If this guy can save it, it's a good thing. I may not join it either. I might actually join it if Kevin O'Leary and this group buys it, because I do see that this is also a part, and Donald Trump is going to be a part of this as well. I think this is very important. I don't think I'm not saying he's buying it.
No, I know what you mean.
The U.S. assets, but they're going to need his help in order to get this done, and I think it's brilliant.
Indeed it is. Could it be saved? Seems like a strong possibility.
I want
see
it.
How, yeah, man. Look,
I want it to be saved for people who really make money out of it.
I don't care one way or another.
Yeah.
Couldn't care. If it goes away, I don't care.
Right.
And if he saves it, I don't care. But I like the fact that he sees an opportunity to make money and to help folks out. Good for him, man.
This is what these guys do, and I appreciate it. It's a vulnerable asset.
Exactly right.
So we're going to swing in there and make it non-vulnerable and make it profitable.
See the limpid dog.
Yeah.
Telling you find a vulnerable asset, if you can get it, at a little bit of
And
a
turn
lesser
it into
price.
something?
Yeah.
Good.
By the way, Harley Davidson, lowest stock price ever, dropped 52-week low. Why? They went woke.
Yep.
And they alienated all their customers.
Do they bounce back? See what they do, because they could do the Bud Light route.
They've doubled down though.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They could go the Bud Light route and win. But like you said, they're doubling down. So
in 2020, I had a friend of mine who was like, I need to put some money in the stock market. What should I do? And I went, cruise lines.
Yeah. because that's the only thing.
And guess what came right back?
Roaring back. That was the first thing back, as a matter of fact. There you go. That'll do it for us. For Rhino, Los, and Board Op, Captain Goey, Virgin River, I'm Tug. Y'all come back now, yeah?
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's Pete, and here's what you missed from the talk.
Really looking forward to, though, Trump's promise that on day one, he's going to start deporting illegal aliens, called